All right, guys, welcome in. Big show tonight. We covered a lot last night, and there's some follow-up that I have to do tonight. I do want to I want to open a little differently than I normally do. I am going to do the opening statement in just a second, but I have to share an article on one of my all-time favorite movies. I have to share this article on one of my all-time favorite movies. Some of you will understand why I'm sharing this. Some of you won't, but that's okay. Tom Hanks played a great character. A great character. I think his name was Jimmy Dugan. Yeah, Jimmy Dugan. Jimmy Dugan was a manager of a baseball team that was made up of women. It was called A League of Their Own. It was a fantastic movie, and what it showed was women could be very compelling and very creative and very funny and very very much entertaining. And so while the men were all off fighting World War II, the women created a league of their own, and they came out. A little slow out of the gate, but they were actually very good, and they ended up creating a nice crowd, and it was a great movie. There's a famous line in there where he looks over, and he'd been mildly critical of somebody, and he looks over, he said, "Hey, are you crying?" And he noticed the young lady was crying. He said, "Hey, there's no crying in baseball." And it's one of the all-time favorite lines of mine from my childhood. And I just wanted to open with that. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball. I said the other night politics was a contact sport. I will say this, in podcasting, as a lawyer, I'm trained that if you steal from somebody, then you are by all means flattering that person, right? You're obviously saying, "Hey, I like your work a lot. I think what you did was compelling." In fact, most legal work is just theft. That's all it is. Whether it's contracting or whether it's briefing, a lot of times you lift what someone else does, but you cite it. You let them know, "I took your material." You let the judge know, "I took your material. This is not original to me." The same thing happens if you go publish a PhD. You can take other people's material. You just have to reference it. You just have to say, "This is where I got this material." I bring that up because I'd gotten a lot of information over the last, month or so that there were a few people that were basically redoing my show as soon as I get on with my show. And that's fine. I don't care. None of this is unique to me. This is just news. It's open source. And so I contacted several of them by email and said, "Hey, I don't mind if you redo my show, but I'm trying to grow a brand. I'm trying to grow a show. You're trying to grow a show. If I ever take your material, I will cite to you. Can you just promise me if you ever take my material, you'll cite to me?" And every one of them, it was like 5 different people, every one of them said yes. And I have had people reach out to me that said, "Hey, where did you get that?" Because I had just covered that the day before. "Oh my gosh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I will try to keep a better mind of that." One of the people I reached out to did not have the same collegial, remark. So that's why I'm opening that way. It's a little different, but I just got to say, God, just cite your sources and move on. Cite your sources and move on. Look out. All right. I do want to open with the opening statement, just as I do most nights. There were a lot of lessons that came out of the 2016 presidential campaign. For example, we learned that a non-politician could win both a primary and a general election for president. Sometimes being a billionaire celebrity is enough. We learned that your personal life doesn't have to be pristine to win. For example, Trump has 5 children by 3 different women. And he's got a list of alleged affairs that would make, Bill Clinton blush. We learned that October surprises can be overcome. Who doesn't remember the Billy Bush tape and the predictions that Trump would never recover from its release? We learned that New York Times predictions of 99% likelihoods of winning are basically meaningless. Hillary Clinton went into election night a 99% favorite to win, and she lost. And to be fair, that lesson was learned again in 2020 when we all went to bed on election night with New York Times saying Trump was a 99% favorite to win, and he lost. But all those lessons pale in comparison to the real lesson from 2016, the most important lesson. And that lesson is that labels like conservative or liberal or Republican or Democrat are meaningless. One of my favorite entries in Wikipedia is a list titled, "The List of Republicans Who Opposed Donald Trump 2016 Presidential Campaign." It's a who's who of Republicans. Both former presidents George Bush are on there. So it was Jeb Bush, the less energetic Bush who ran and lost. There are former primary rivals like Senator Lindsey Graham and John Kasich. And who can forget George Pataki, the former governor of New York, though most likely everyone has forgotten George Pataki by now. There are dozens of cabinet-level officials, including Republican stalwarts like Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, and Bill Bennett. 11 of the 31 sitting Republican governors on election night all opposed Donald Trump, as did more than a dozen former Republican governors. There were 11 sitting Republican United States senators opposed to Trump out of the 54 serving on election night, including former GOP presidential nominee John McCain. Add 10 more senators, which is it's remarkable because most former U.S. senators don't know what day it is and they're limited to soft foods and depends. But you've got a growing list here. The list of former Republican congressmen, sitting and former Republican congressmen who opposed Trump is so long my calculator broke trying to calculate. And you can add to that hundreds of former partisan Republican political appointees, State Department officials, Defense Department officials, national security officials, law enforcement officials, literally hundreds and hundreds of state and local Republicans, all who opposed him. And that doesn't even count conservative media figures like Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Glenn Beck, Guy Benson, David Brooks, Ross Douthat, David French, Jonah Goldberg, Stephen Hayes, Charles Krauthammer, Dana Lash, George Will, and more. You've recognized a lot of these names. These were the stalwart Republican commentators. There were literally hundreds of supposedly conservative media luminaries united in opposition to a Donald Trump presidency. I haven't even covered the supposedly conservative business leaders, the academics, the entertainment figures who opposed him. And despite this avalanche of opposition, despite the Billy Bush tapes, despite the wreck of his personal life, despite the jokes, despite the investigations, despite the rumors of Russian mingling on election day, everyday Americans lined up to vote for Trump. I mean, lined up. Lines were stretching in many cases 5 to 10 times longer than a normal election. People who'd never voted before turned out to vote. The man who didn't appeal to the supposedly conservative and Republican elitists who opposed him, that man resonated deeply with the actually conservative and actually Republican regular folks around the country. Because if you punch a clock for a living, if you wear steel-toe boots or come home with dirt under your fingernails, you probably don't care who Lindsey Graham thinks should be president. Because when the cards are on the table, we learned Lindsey Graham was playing for the other team. And so was the quote-unquote Republican Bush family. And so were the hundreds and hundreds of Washington, D.C. insiders who were able to exist for decades cross-dressing as Republicans. They weren't, of course, Republicans. But deep down, we already knew that. We knew that because we kept voting them into office every 2 to 4 years, only to be stabbed in the back every time it was time for them to actually be Republicans and be conservatives. And that's the beginning of the greatest lesson of the 2016 election. It peeled back the curtain. Specifically, Donald Trump peeled back the curtain. His election let us see that these people were never on our side in the first place. It was a grift. It was always a grift. It had never been real. Presidents, governors, senators, congressmen, political appointees, conservative media, it was all a lie. It was never real. We normal folks spent decades participating in rigged primaries where we voted for our guy if we could locate one on the ballot. And when our guy inevitably lost the rigged primary election, we were told to be good little conservative cattle and go vote for the lesser of two evils. So we pulled levers for Bush, we pulled levers for McCain, we pulled levers for Romney, we pulled levers for Dole. And for hundreds of other people cosplaying as conservatives because we were told that's how the Republican Party worked. You vote for your preferred candidate in the primary, and then you rally around the nominee in November, no matter what, no exceptions. And for the most part, we did it year after year, decade after decade. And then our guy finally won the primary. And they didn't rally around him. Instead, they voted for Clinton, and then Biden, and then Harris. They voted for anyone but Trump. They opposed Trump every step of the way. They cheered hoax investigations. They amplified fake news stories. They did everything they told us not to do. What we learned in 2016 is that there never were two parties, at least not in the traditional sense of Republican and Democrats. There was one party, the Uniparty. And it didn't serve conservatives or liberals back home. It served them, the insiders. It served the politicians and their families. It served the political appointees. It served the media figures. To clarify, you and I are not the Uniparty. We're the ones they make fun of at their cocktail parties. We're the ones they laugh at while they're crafting their latest iteration of how to ruin our lives and the lives of our grandchildren. We're the ones they despise. Most elections, the Uniparty gets what it wants. It gets what it wants in the primaries, and then it has two Uniparty candidates squaring off in November. This allows Republicans and Democrats to act like they oppose each other. It allows them to say ugly things about each other and promise us this is the most important election in history. You know, rinse and repeat every 2 to 4 years. But in 2016, the plan was ruined because Donald Trump won the primary. The plan was to unite the Uniparty in opposition to Trump while maintaining some veneer of partisanship while doing so. Oh, John McCain, he's not a Uniparty member. No. He's just principled. He can't bear the thought of a man like Trump sitting on the Resolute desk. But that's not at all what it was. Trump's campaign was a gift. It was a gift to us. By winning the primary, he pulled back the curtain and let us see the Uniparty in action. We learned, for example, that Ben Shapiro and Barack Obama, they were on the same Uniparty team. So were George Bush and Rachel Maddow. So were Lindsey Graham and Hillary Clinton. Rinse and repeat over and over with everyone I named on that list earlier. They're all on the same team with the overwhelmingly vast majority of the rest of the D.C. insiders. Unfortunately, Donald Trump has been in office so long that many had kind of forgotten the most important lesson of 2016. We're 11 years past that. Too many had forgotten the Uniparty controls nearly everything. Not Donald Trump, certainly not we the people. Most people seem to act as if they forgot they got a good peek behind that curtain back in 2016. Mark Levin, for example, is still on the air. Mark Levin is still parading around as a model Republican. So is Ben Shapiro, for that matter. Lindsey Graham is up for re-election soon. And the same average, everyday South Carolinians he actually despises, they're going to line up overwhelmingly to re-elect him. And it's not hard. I mean, I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt here. It's not hard to see why people join the Uniparty. It certainly has its advantages. Elections are easy when you're in the Uniparty. You don't get a serious primary challenge. You win re-election 98+% of the time. You get media puff pieces written about you. You get invites to all the major network TV interviewers. You get standing ovations wherever you go. You become a household name. This isn't just for elected officials. This is for political appointees. This is for people in entertainment. This is for people in media. Life is easy when you're part of the Uniparty. The only cost to being in the Uniparty, what's the only cost? Your integrity, your soul. The death of Charlie Kirk has peeled that curtain back again. It's not the same dynamics we had in 2016. It's admittedly a little murkier. Maybe a little foggier is a better way to describe it. But we see the same dynamics playing out. Whatever it is, the gauntlet has once again been thrown down. The line has been drawn. If you want to be on the side of the Uniparty, you'll accept the Fed slop narrative related to Charlie Kirk, and you'll go back to the mainstream talking points. You'll repeat them. If you play this game, if you support the Uniparty narrative that a 20-year-old with a furry roommate planned and pulled off the assassination of a major political figure in just over a week, the benefits of the Uniparty will be bestowed upon you. You'll, of course, have to ignore basic things like physics, logic, rational thought, and the mounting evidence that the Uniparty Fed slop narrative is incomprehensibly unsupportable. But you'll be remembered when the dust settles. You'll book the bigger guests. You'll be booked on bigger shows. The money will come flowing. Give it time. Be patient. The kingdom will be yours. If you oppose the Uniparty, by oppose it, I mean you're asking questions about things that don't make sense. Like, can a neck stop a 30-06 round? Can a bullet supposedly take wild turns inside of the neck, going up and down and sideways all at once? Why are certain camera angles being clipped and edited? Why are witnesses being intimidated into silence? Why is TPUSA doing, everything they're doing? Why does a 20-year-old text his boyfriend like Humphrey Bogart? And why would a really smart kid who intends to get away with a crime take his cell phone to the scene of the crime and then use that cell phone to admit to the crime to everyone he knows within 33 hours? If you ask any of those questions, you'll be called crazy. You're divisive. You're evil. You're schizophrenic. Could be worse. And while the curtain is pulled back a little bit, take notes this time. Don't count on Wikipedia to log everything for you. Make a note of who is desperately trying to push this uniparty Fed slop narrative and who isn't. Keep that list for later reference. Those are your teams. Those pushing, and I mean truly pushing the Tyler Robinson narratives, those guys play for the other team. All right, here we go. So that's the opening statement today. What have I missed? What have I missed? Oh, I have missed. I want to go to a little recap from last night because I want to set up Charlie Kirk discussing being labeled as an anti-Semite by his buddies, by his donors, as far back as 2023. 2023. This is not something that is new to the Charlie Kirk investigation. So first thing I want to do is I want to point out what I discussed last night. I want to share a little small clip. It's about 25 seconds. For those that weren't here last night, those of you who, for whatever reason, on Sunday or whatever, you're not watching podcasts late at night. I want you to watch this, and I want you to then keep this in mind in context for what we're going to share in just a second. So here is what we covered last night. Charlie Kirk, my good friend. Actually, I've never met the man. Take it away.
But the fact is now Bibi and the Israeli hard right government has a mandate. I got to be careful the way I say this. They're going to try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yep. I mean,
this was what we covered last night. They're going to try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. This is something they're trying to do. This is what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Well, I asked the question, where does this notion come from? How long had Charlie been this way? Because this was 5 days. 5 days after the October 7th attacks. Only 5 days. Somebody emails me and says, hey, it's not as if he didn't mention this. He published something in November of 2023. This is November 30th of 2023, where he references being labeled an anti-Semite over these allegations. Can I blow that up? Oh, yeah. So this is Telegram. I did not know this. I knew Telegram existed, but I did not know this existed. Charlie Kirk says, I was smeared as an anti-Semite for even broaching this topic. Smeared as an anti-Semite. Now he says, turns out I was onto something. So this is November of 2013, and he's admitting, hey, this looks so bad, and anytime I talk about it, people are saying that it makes me an anti-Semite. What is it? The New York Times. This is a New York Times story he's quoting. What does the New York Times story say? Israeli officials obtained Hamas's battle plan for the October 7th terrorist attack more than a year before it happened. Which means the battle plan, the battle plan attack that Hamas used to do the October 7th, 2023 attacks, the New York Times reported, and Charlie Kirk seemed to concur that this looked legitimate to him, that if Israeli officials obtained that battle plan more than a year before October 7th. This would be like the United States getting Barack Obama's battle plan for September 11th, 2001. And they would have had it in the summer of 2000. This is before we even called things 20. The summer of 2000. If we got a document in the summer of 2000 and said, hey, guys, I think a great idea would be to hijack some planes and fly them into the World Trade Center, maybe hit the Pentagon, maybe go somewhere through Pennsylvania. Not sure where we'll head yet. They might shoot us out of the sky. Oh, and while we're at it, let's strike the buildings in just such a way that building 7 comes down at the same time. It'll be amazing. We'll have so much fun. We'll have so much fun. But this is him saying, I'm on to something. Turns out I was on to something. Now, this is important to me for a couple of reasons. One is, I don't know if you've seen the beef going back and forth with Ian Carroll and Nick Fuentes. But Nick Fuentes goes to Ian Carroll. I don't want to play it because it just turns into too many clips. But Fuentes goes and he posts in response to something Ian Carroll said. And he says, Charlie Kirk was riding Israel's jock basically up until the last second, up until the very last second. Well, we're going to cover tonight. Is that necessarily true? Is that necessarily true? Because I have him 5 days after the October 7th attack saying, yeah, they're going to ethnically cleanse Gaza. I have him a month after the October 7th attack saying, hey, guys, they knew it was coming and they let it happen. That doesn't sound very pro-Israeli to me. I'm old school, admittedly. I'm old school. And so I want to play a clip actually from tonight. I was watching this like 30 minutes ago. I want to play this clip from tonight because it gets into the question we've all been asking. If Tyler Robinson actually did all this on his own, if the Fed slop narrative is true, if nobody else had anything to do with it, why is Charlie Kirk terrified the day before he passes away? Because according to Candace Owens, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, she went live an hour ago, but according to Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk said this the night before he passed away.
And what I can tell you is we also received a tip from somebody within Turning Point USA that the night before he died, I know for a fact he messaged a donor and he messaged somebody at Turning Point USA. But I did about planning and protecting, of course. I'm not saying that you should run and dump everything that you have into gold. That would be as misguided.
Hold, please. Hold, please. What is that? Oh, it's probably because I had it on the live. Oh, you know what I'm going to have to do? You guys are going to have to bear with me for a second. I froze it on the live when she said it. And so now I've got to see, have they transcribed it yet so I can find it? If not, I'll just tell you what she said. They've not. Here's what she said. She said the night before Charlie Kirk passed away. So this is September 10th he passes away. So September 9th, Tuesday, September 9th. I think it was Tuesday. He messages not only a donor that says, I think they are going to kill me. He goes to his chief security guard, Dan Flood, and asks him, or tells him, I think they're going to kill me. Now, that's a source she says she has from a TPUSA insider. I cannot verify that source. I'm going on what she's saying. But it's consistent. I do believe it is consistent with something we talked about last night, because this morning, George Webb gets on a live stream and says, hey, I've heard that Dan Flood has now been removed from TPUSA. And I don't know whether that was yesterday, the day before, or whether he's just going off of Dan Flood's been removed from the website, so we know he's been removed from TPUSA. I don't know which. But if you remember what we covered last night, you remember that? And then you remember how you saw the signal from Texas A&M at the same time? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me if Dan Flood was removed last night after that show. That would not surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Did I call him Dan Flub? I saw somebody say that. Or did he just flub it so bad? And so there's this rumor that Dan Flood has been removed. I don't know if that's true or not. I do know he's not on the website. And as we talked about last night, there's only 3 possibilities, and all 3 are terrible. All 3 are awful. Option 1, he's been fired and we haven't been given an explanation. That's terrible. His main asset died on his watch. If that guy was removed and we weren't told about it, that's a horrific outcome. Option 2. Option 2 is they're chicken, you know what, and they pulled him down off the website to avoid the heat. That's not a good option either. That's not a good option either. Option 3 is he quit and you didn't tell us. But no matter what, no matter which of those 3 options happened, no matter whether he was fired, or whether they just took him down off the website because they don't want the heat, or whether he quit, we're owed some kind of an explanation. Because you've got people out there like Nick Fuentes, who's going around shoveling the Fed slop narrative and it's just shovel, shovel, shovel. Who's attacking Ian when Ian says, "Hey, bro, why aren't you asking what's going on with Charlie Kirk?" The answer, if you're Nick, is I don't care about what happened to Charlie Kirk. I mean, I would have accepted that. I would have accepted that. That would have been a perfectly acceptable thing. That would have been a perfectly acceptable explanation. But to go out there and say, no, instead, I believe it's the Fed slop and I'm just going to shovel, shovel, shovel the Fed slop, I just refuse to accept that. I just refuse to accept it. And so there's this conservative catfight going on right now. I think this conservative catfight is a targeted attack trying to take down those of us on this side. Because you have the uniparty Fed slop that we set up in the opening statement. You have the uniparty Fed slop, and they're all having a Fed slop-asm, right? They're going on each other's shows. They're going on each other's shows, and they're just patting each other on the back. And I think Tyler Robinson did it too. Oh, I think Tyler Robinson did it more. No, I think Tyler Robinson did it more. And there's just all this back slapping going on, and there's all this happiness, and they just couldn't be any happier. And everybody on the other side looking into this, wondering, is this what they say it is? Everybody on our side is being labeled as crazy. But that wasn't working. They were losing. They were losing that battle. So now you see what's happening. Now you have effective people being targeted. Targeted from within and targeted from without. So they send the Fed slop people in to go directly after Candace. She's crazy. Why? If Candace was being effective? If Candace was being effective, no one would have mentioned Candace. I mean, if she wasn't being effective. If she was truly making an idiot out of herself, they would just let her go. And then you got Ian. So Ian's being effective. Ian looks out and says, "Hey, Nick, why aren't you, are you just not a story that interests you?" And instead of Nick saying, "Yeah, I'm just not interested in it. Sorry, I'm covering all this other stuff." Instead, he goes and he gets attacked. And the same thing's happening when I talked about the baseball opening today. The same thing's happening today. If somebody takes your show and steals it for like a month or two, and you go back and you say, "Hey, here's where I did my show, and here's their show the next day, it's the same show." And you email them and say, and I've done this with several people, email them, just say, "Hey, I don't care that you're doing it, but just, throw me a bone. Like just say, hey, Barron said this. I noticed George Webb when he covers things, Barron said. Ian, when he covers things, Barron said. When I cover things, Ian said. Ian said. George Webb said. Candace said." That's it. That's all. And when you email somebody and say that, then they go full Tim Pool. That's an op. That's an op. I'm sorry. That's an op. We don't get to go on camera crying about it. You don't get to go on camera crying about it. And if you want people to be able to contact you privately, open an email address. Open an email address. All right. Speaking of conservative catfight. Speaking of conservative catfight, I want to go to let me say this. I said maybe a couple of weeks ago, I started talking about the TPUSA people and mentioning that they all seem to have certain characteristics. You guys remember that? I started talking about the certain characteristics all these people had. That they all acted a certain way, they all looked a certain way. They all had certain rumors floating around them. Well, I'm not the only one that noticed. Because Milo went on Tucker, what was this, a week ago? Earlier this week? And absolutely filleted right-wing Republican commentary. I'm going to play a clip of that. I'm not going to play the Milo clip from the Tim Pool show for a couple of reasons. One is I thought it was way over the top. It's one thing to say someone's a Flintstone, they look a little happy. It's another thing to just fillet them from the bottom of their foot to the top of their head. He's free to do it. I don't, more power to him. but, and it was just a little graphic. This is kind of more of a family show than Tim Pool's show. But I want to play this clip real quick because it sets up real quickly the next point I'm going to make here.
Does the incidence of closeted homosexuality on the right is like overwhelming. It's like way above what you would imagine is statistically probable.
3 straight guys on the right. It's like Alex, you, and I have a floating wild card just in case I forgot anybody. Who else is there?
I'd like to claim the wild card. I didn't really. Can I get that wild card? What a freeze frame. I apologize. I would never do that to someone on purpose.
Who else is there? I mean, maybe the Tates, but who else is there?
What is that? I don't understand.
There's such a long relationship, a long happy marriage between conservative politics and homosexuality, and it's easy to joke about it and say, "Oh, it's all of the bells and smells and frocks of the religious dimension to it all, or it's the pomp and circumstance of power." But
the New Testament is really tough on homosexuality, so I don't see it as certainly not a Christian thing.
It's not a Christian thing, but
all right, so this was that. I don't want to play the whole clip. If you want, I mean, Tucker puts on a great show. You can go watch it. But I wanted to set it up because when I first started talking about the TPUSA people, I made a comment about this is how right-wing politics works. And if you go look at all the people, I don't know if you guys remember this, but if you go look at all the people who staff all these right-wing organizations, all the congressional offices, even the congressmen themselves, what you'll find out is it's pretty gay, like overall. It's pretty gay. Right-wing politics and left-wing politics, but shockingly high percentage on right-wing politics considering the kind of the planks in the platform. And I had someone reach out to me by email and say, but Baron, is this fair of you to say, do you really know this? And I'll say how I noticed it. My business partner used to be gay. His name was Jack. He was fantastic. He was a great guy. He passed away a couple of years ago. He had a stroke and he was elderly and overweight and diabetic. It didn't end well for him. But and we were on the radio together off and on for a while. He was just a great guy. But I was asking him about growing up because he was quite a bit older than I was. He graduated high school in the mid-'70s. I graduated in the late '90s. And I asked him, I said, what was it like growing up gay then? Because while we were we had a political consulting firm together. While we were working together, this was kind of the move. Massachusetts legalizes gay marriage, and then the Supreme Court comes out and legalizes gay marriage. And so the country is sort of changing. And I was just curious. And I asked people a lot of questions. I said, Jack, what was it like growing up gay in the 70s? And he said, it's totally different than it is now. He said, for example, it was his position that's how all these offices got staffed. He said you would find out someone was gay. They were terrified someone else would find out about it. And so you had to take care of each other. And for some reason, politics was like a vacuum because typically gay people don't have large families. You don't have 6, 7, 8 kids. You only have 1 or 2 kids most of the time. So you can work the long hours. You can travel a lot. You can go out doing all the drinking. There's drinking and drugs and all this stuff. And then you get these jobs and they pay really well. And so you want to reward other people with similar jobs. This is kind of, he was telling me, this was the genesis of how this came to be when he was coming up in politics in the 70s and 80s, 90s. And he worked all over politics in D.C. and Alabama and Texas. I think he worked for George Bush when he was governor of Texas at one point. But he was saying, hey, you would identify somebody and you would say, hey, you're gay. You don't want to tell anybody. I work in politics. I've got this great outfit over here. We can hire you. We can pay you. We'll take care of you. You're good with us. And it sort of developed that way. And then it sort of got passed down generationally to where that's still how all these offices are staffed. That was his position. Well, I have been totally unable to look at politics any other way because when I look at politics, I notice the Blake Neffs and Mikey McCoys of the world. And the other thing is, he said, what you do is you bring them in young, you overpay them, you give them a title that they didn't earn, and then they're on the hook for life, like that you own them for life. And so I start looking at politics and I see these people, they're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, and they're getting these unbelievable political positions, 22, 23, 24 years old. They get these unbelievable political positions. They get appointed to the chiefs of staff of high-end organizations. They get appointed to, high-end lobbying outfits, making tons of money. And I think that's what Milo's talking about. I don't know, because he grew up British. He came over, I think, to the United States. I'm guessing here. I don't know his whole bio. 20s, 30s, maybe. He wasn't gay in the United States in the political arena in the 70s. He didn't see how it kind of formed and was brought up. But once you see it, I've had so many people that I've talked to about this. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You will see it absolutely everywhere you look. It's the blue truck. It's the blue truck. You think no one has a blue truck? I'm going to get a blue Ford F-150. I've never seen a blue Ford F-150. You go buy a blue Ford F-150. Guess what you're going to see every day for the rest of your life? A blue Ford F-150. You had never considered a blue Ford F-150, so you didn't even think to look for them. But once you consider it and once you start looking for them, you'll see it everywhere. And it's not that they don't exist. Blue F-150s do exist. And that's the same thing with the people who are staffing all of these organizations. And I dare say there is merit to this beef Milo has with all these other people. I don't know that for a fact. Never joined in on it with the whoever it was he was beefing with over the last couple of days. Couldn't think of his name. I can't think of it now. I'm just not going to say it. But this is the what's the word I'm looking for? This is the hidden little secret. We used to say in our office, because I mean you figure it out and then you encounter people, we'd say, we're not saying it's a gay cabal running all the politics at every level, but if it was a cabal, this is exactly what it would look like. Not saying it is, but if it was, this is exactly what it would look like. And so I bring all that up just to point out, hey, I don't think Milo's way off base here. And we have some history for this. For example, I'm going to show you a story. A lot of you may not remember this. You may be too young, or you may just have forgotten your history. Do you remember a guy named Dennis Hastert? Dennis Hastert was the Speaker of the House of the United States. He was the Speaker of the House of the United States. He was accused, made it too big. He was accused of sexually abusing young boys when he was a teacher and wrestling coach back in Illinois. Do you think he made it all the way to the Speaker of the House without anyone knowing that existed? No. No, of course not. People absolutely knew this was the case. People absolutely knew he had an affinity for males. People probably absolutely knew, I can't say this definitively, but they probably absolutely knew that he had an affinity for young males. They probably absolutely knew that they had caught him with young males. That's the Epstein model, baby. That's it. That is what it is. It's not just him. Do you remember this guy, Mark Foley? Mark Foley. Now, I'm going after the elected officials right now because they put their name on a ballot. Late 2006, he was soliciting emails and suggestive messages from teenage boys. Now, you know, maybe he has a good defense. My point is, somebody knew this was taking place and elevated him to positions of power. That's my biggest problem with it. I have a problem in and of itself that it's happening. But the bigger problem is, this is the political capital that people are using to get ahead. You mentioned, someone in the comments mentioned Mike Johnson. There was an allegation about Mike Johnson not terribly long ago. I don't know if it has any merit. But there was an allegation about Mike Johnson not terribly long ago. It goes on and on and on. Larry Craig with his wide stance in the thing. No, I'm not gay bashing. This is not gay bashing. I don't care what these people do. My point is, this is the way politics works. I'm supporting Milo and others who are going out there saying, yeah, this is what happens. And Tucker, who say, yeah, this is what happens. This is how it works. This is politics. This gets back to the uniparty process. This is my point of my opening statement. The uniparty doesn't care because the uniparty didn't elect Dennis Hastert as the Republican Speaker of the House because Dennis Hastert had Republican family values. They didn't elect Dennis Hastert to the Republican Speaker of the House because he was super conservative Dennis Hastert. No, that has nothing to do with it. That's not it at all. They supported him for Speaker of the House because, I mean, he was a particularly unremarkable person, if you remember. Have you ever seen a picture of Dennis Hastert? We're not talking like a slick politician. You think Speaker of the House, you think Mike McCarthy. Hell, even Mike Johnson, he's at least got a haircut. Have you ever seen Dennis Hastert? I'll just show you the whole Google Images page. I'm not going to try to pick out a bad one. I'll let you see all the bad ones. Does this look, I mean, is this look like the genius politician, the evil mad genius? No, he was compromised. That's why he was the Speaker of the House. That's 100% why he was the Speaker of the House. That's my point. I think that's the point ultimately Milo's making. And I think that's the point of, to me, a lot of the explanation for what is happening in the conservative politics right now. The catfighting, the infighting. I think there are a lot of people who are infighting because they are controlled. They're infighting because they're controlled. If they are serving up uniparty slop, there's a possibility, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're controlled. That is the point. That is the point. Let's see here. Someone asked me if I would show the Blake Neff email. So I'm going to show it now. I didn't know how, I'm not fancy on computers. I didn't know well how to redact this, so I just dropped it in a Word document. I don't have time to mess with all this stuff. This is an email exchange. I promise you it's word for word. I've just blacked out what I think is identifying information, or deleted it when I couldn't get it blacked out. This is somebody emailing on December 3rd to Blake Neff. You need to get better advisors, better writers. Candace didn't become the #1 global podcast because we were all leftist Antifas. Apparently, he was blaming us for being leftist Antifas. We're the opposite, and we all immediately felt and still feel there are holes in the official narrative. And then goes on, I'm a senior citizen, 3-time Trump MAGA voter, born-again Christian. I feel like you're mocking me when you mock Candace. Repent and apologize to us in our millions. Now, what in the world do you think was Blake's response? Hi, redacted. I meant exactly what I said. The behavior of Candace's fans has been utterly disgusting. They act with the same callous hatefulness as Antifa. I know because I've gotten to directly witness the behavior of both these past 3 months. I will not apologize. If you want to side with them, that is your choice. But if you do, then you don't love Charlie. Banish the thought. This reminds me of like sports fans. If you don't support our coach, you're not a real fan. If you don't support the big, beautiful bill, you don't really like Trump. If you don't support bombing Iran, you're not MAGA. You love the rush you get from ripping apart grieving people. Blake, just don't respond. Just don't respond. You guys have been so quiet about so much. A senior citizen, 3-time MAGA voter finally provoked your interest enough to respond? That's where you draw the line? No. I'm not going to respond if they suggest that my good friend Mikey might have been in on the murder. No, I'm not going to suggest. I'm above responding. I'm not going to give heed to your allegations. I'm not going to respond when they wonder why our tech guy was there when he's never there. I am not going to respond. But a 3-time senior citizen Trump voter comes up to you, and that's where you say, that's it. I've had enough. I cannot handle anymore. I must address this outrage. Which outrage, Blake? Are you talking about the outrage where they're accusing Mikey of running off on him while he's dying? No, I'm not going to address that outrage. Oh, what about the outrage where they chucked him in the van like a side of beef instead of getting help from the medical professionals who were present? No, I'm not going to address that outrage. Oh, well, what about the outrage where they're suggesting that they're hiding evidence of a murder by taking down the cameras? Are you going to address that outrage? No, I'm not going to address that outrage. Well, what outrage are you addressing, Blake? A 3-time MAGA voter, senior citizen. I've had enough. I've got to address it. I've had enough. She did respond, called him son. I thought that's always nice. Throw that in there. You don't know me, son. Charlie knows who loves him. Let's stop both sides. Let's stop putting thoughts and words in Charlie's mouth post-death. And so does Christ, whom Charlie so loved. You're attacking your own. This is the key. This is why I thought it was worth sharing tonight. This inside attacking has to stop. Matt Walsh said he wanted to stop the inside attacking, and they totally sidelined him. The algorithms used to push me Matt Walsh gear like 7 times a day. I would get 7 Matt Walsh clips a day. I don't get any anymore. Matt Walsh used to be, I would get advertisements for "Am I a Racist?" or "What is a Woman?" I would get them 25 times a day. I don't get any anymore. Matt Walsh has been effectively sidelined. Why? Because he said, hey, let's not attack each other for a little while. Let's just see how that goes. Maybe one day Matt Walsh will grow the pair we all believe he might have somewhere and leave the Daily Wire, and we'll see the real Matt Walsh, like we're seeing the real Brett Cooper now. She's gone. I don't want to shortcut this email because she did say a few other things. Mothers, fathers, veterans, we're not evil. We're acting in good faith, looking for the whole truth. I'll pray for you as you face her questions. Remember, she is asking on behalf of many, many good Americans and sincere Christians around the world. But that's it. So there is a breaking point for TPUSA. There absolutely is a breaking point for TPUSA. But the breaking point is not answering questions about the actual murder of Charlie Kirk. That is not the breaking point. The breaking point is senior citizens out there leaned over on a cane. That's the issue right there. Okay. Last little piece I want to get to here, and then I've got a couple extraneous stories I want to clear up from the last few days. It wasn't terribly long ago when Candace mentioned, it was a couple of days ago, mentioned a guy named Immanuel Bierer. And I, doing what I sometimes do, I jumped on and I thought, well, this is a new name. We've not heard of this. Let me see what's out there in the realm of Immanuel Bierer. So I jumped on Google Trends. I jumped on Google Trends because a lot of times when I'm doing these Google Trend searches, because they have a tendency to disappear information off of them, I'll record me running through it. But I ran through it, and the reason I'm showing you this video, I ran through this the first time. There's no sound, so you don't have to worry about this. Pardon the close-up here. Oh, there we go. You'll notice here, I'll pause it. I spelled it Emmanuel with an E. And that's because in the news story she cited, it was Emmanuel with an E. That's weird because there's 2 of me right next to each other on the screen. But in the news story, it was Emmanuel with an E. Well, lo and behold, I kept getting people saying, hey, I think it's Emmanuel with an I. So I looked it up, Emmanuel with an I, and did another search. There it is, Emmanuel with an I. I thought, why would there be more than one spelling of Emmanuel? How did I get it wrong? Well, I went and I pulled the actual article that she was showing. And sure enough, in that article, it was Emmanuel with an I. I mean, yeah, with an E, rather. Emmanuel with an E. But the actual Immanuel Bierer is not Emmanuel with an E. It's Emmanuel with an I. Well, this is a weird thing. I didn't know what she was asking for. I didn't know what she thought there would be. I was confused, so I thought, let me just run through and see what we can find out there. Here's that original news story. I think this is a fun little walk down a lane showing you how this works. Well, I'll blow it up big, so we're all watching the same thing together. Here we go. This is the original news story she was talking about.
First of what was happening.
I hear this loud sound and I'm like, that wasn't what I thought it was, is it? I was like, no, this can't be happening right now.
So that's the only clip, honestly, in the whole news story. I don't know why this drew her attention. But this is the day of the shooting, but this is not in Provo. This is not in Orem. This is an hour away in Salt Lake City, allegedly. And I think that's what caught her attention. Hey, why are they interviewing this guy an hour away in Salt Lake City? So is there anything more to this story? I don't know. But a very astute reader to the listener to the program, or viewer of the program, I have to get used to the what we're calling it now. A very astute viewer to the program noticed something weird on Immanuel Bierer's LinkedIn page. There are, in fact, 2 Immanuel Bierer LinkedIn pages. And if you notice, the 2 pages have different people or different pictures. Maybe it's the same person, but different 2 different pages, 2 different pictures. And if you go through, and this is also interesting, look what recommended post jumps up when you look at Immanuel Bierer. It's a post with some language I didn't recognize. It turns out it's Hebrew. So when you search Immanuel Bierer, you get related posts that pop up in Hebrew. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. But when you go look, he has a very interesting work history. He works with computers. He works with visual arts and all this stuff. And he, I can't show the resume. We have his resume, but I can't show it because if you show the resume, then you're going to out who the guy is. I mean, it's got his home address on it and everything else. But what it turns out is he had some really high-end, the person who emailed me is a tech recruiter. I can't remember if she told me I could use her name or not, so I'm not going to. But let's say first name Erin. She's a tech recruiter. And Erin says, hey, I'm looking at this, and the reason it jumped out at me is because I'm a recruiter in this area, and he has too much experience before he went to college for his degree. Way too much experience, like high-end jobs working in this field well before he goes to the University of Utah to get his degree. And then she starts naming places he worked, and this is why I can't show you the resume. I don't want to out the, like, you know who the guy is. You can go look him up. And he made himself public by going on to the, doing the interview on PBS. But I'm not going to put his phone number up, on the screen. But he has all this experience, and it just doesn't add up. So I don't know if this guy's somebody or not. I don't know why Candace was asking about it. But once again, there's some weird component to this in that this is a college campus, and they run out to interview not college students, but a 38-year-old software developer in Salt Lake City. That's who they interview about the shooting. You would think they could find a 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old college freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior and get their impression. But we have almost none of those. We have almost no public interviews with college students from UVU. Almost none. Instead, what we have are all these adults going on the record. All these adults going on the record. So I do want to show one more thing. This is interesting to me. This is from the Life is Driving video. This was, I did not catch this the first time. I did not catch this the first time. And I wouldn't have caught it, except when the Immanuel Bierer piece came up, you could see in the clip it happening, and somebody else picked up on that, put it on Twitter, and I see it on Twitter, and someone says, why is this guy directing traffic? So I retweeted it. I said, yeah, I've never seen this before. Why is this guy directing traffic? Check it out. You can see it here. I found the video where they got it from. It's the Life is Driving video. But this is bizarre. I've never been to a shooting, obviously, but I've been a lot of public places. Sometimes public places where people leaving quickly. I've never seen people turn into traffic directors.
And we had it, so it's positioned above the tent, so it would be in the camera.
There's your gunshot. This gives you an idea how quick it is. So this will give you an idea how quick afterwards it is. So right now, everybody's just leaning down. Nobody's running off yet.
There's been a shooting. We heard shots.
Now they start to run. Watch how quickly people start directing traffic, and watch where they're standing.
We heard shots. You guys okay? Okay, love you. Be safe. Okay, be safe. Bye. Apparently there's been a shooting. I don't know who's been.
All right. We are 35 seconds after the shooting. The shooting was in 1919. This is 1954. You see this gigantic flagpole, or this gigantic light pole here. Do you see right to the right of it, right at the very bottom of the screen, the lowest part of the bush here, about a third of the way from the right? You see the guy standing in the bush? Where there's been a lot of discussions about people standing in the bushes. Here's a guy standing in the bush. Look directly in front of the bush. See where the little squares popped up? Look directly below that. There's a guy in a white long sleeve shirt and a backpack standing in front of that bush where this man is actually standing in the bush, and he's directing traffic. Soon, another guy will come and stand next to this light pole and start directing traffic. Pay attention to this. I'm going to turn the sound off because it's just too loud in my ears. So you see guy down here. You see this guy right under this square right here that I just pulled up. That square right there, right below there. You see this guy in the white shirt directing traffic? Watch the guy next to the light pole. He's also directing traffic. Guys, this is 35, 40 seconds after a shooting. Everybody is running in absolute panic and terror. Those dudes are directing traffic. Not only are they directing traffic, one of the dudes is standing directly in front of a bush with a man standing in it. That is not at all how people act in an emergency. Somebody on Twitter said, yes, we know the old fight, flight, or direct traffic response. It's fight or flight or direct traffic. Which one? Someone also in there suggested that purple tent is an awfully good angle for the shot. I don't know. That might be a bridge too far. That might be a bridge too far. Whether that tent also is a good angle for the shot. I don't know about that, but I've never seen a shooting where immediately within 35 seconds, you've got two people directing traffic and somebody directing traffic in front of a guy standing in a bush. That's the first I've ever heard. It's the first time I've ever heard it. All right. We're going to do a short show tonight because I went 4 hours plus last night. I cannot do it again. I cannot do 4 more hours. Not because of my health. I would love to do 4 hours. I promised my family I would not do 4 hours. And I came on 30 minutes early so that I wouldn't do 4 hours. But I did want to clean up a few of these stories from yesterday. I initially thought about just not doing a show today, but there were just things hanging out there that I just wanted to get cleaned up. And I wanted to address this in-party infighting. And I'm serious when I say this, guys. The in-party infighting has to stop. I am assuming anyone attacking faction within the faction, I'm assuming they're an op. I'm just assuming they're an op. Because they're trying to attack from outside, they can't do it. The Donald Trump forces have been winning, as Milo said on Tim Pool the other day, like 11 straight years. We've been winning elections. We've been winning congressional seats. We've been winning Senate seats. We've been winning presidencies. We've been winning governorships, state houses. They tried attacking us from the left. They failed. Then they set it up so that factions within the Republican Party were fighting. The Uniparty started fighting, I'll call it the Candace wing, right? She's an idiot. She's crazy. She's nuts. She's an anti-Semite. You know, Fuentes and Candace and Tucker. And they cannot run their numbers down. She's got the #1 podcast in America. Tucker's killing it. He's like number 2. So they realized that wasn't working. And so now they're fighting within. Now they're fighting within the faction. They've got people cosplaying as being within your faction fighting you. And it's getting a little ridiculous. It's getting a little ridiculous. That's all I'm going to say about it. All right. Who won the big bet on hoodie color? Who had white? You guys can look back. I try to run them in a kind of the same order. I mean, they're a lot of order. If there's a theme or some reason I want to wear a different one. I've ordered a new one. It's supposed to be here late this week or early next week. It's dope. You're going to love it. Oh, you're going to love it. I love when I get a new hoodie. It's like Christmas. It's like Christmas. Kerry Collins, thank you. Thank you for the generous donation. Baron Coleman, I'm awake, sending your content to people that can receive message without feeling like I sent them an Alex Jones clip. Your style allows skeptics who are just waking up to hear the message without shutting down. I'm grateful. Thank you. Kerry, that's very kind. That's very, very kind. So you're calling me the not so abrasive and aggressive Alex Jones. Is that what you just said? Did I hear that right? I don't want to. Anyway, I'd take any compliment I can get. Thank you for responding to my emails and addressing this. What did I respond to? Or what did I address? But you're welcome. You're welcome. Look, I read the emails. I don't respond to every email. I respond to some. And if it's something that needs to be addressed on the program, I'll certainly address it. Can you check on the past school shooters from the last 10 years on your Google searches? I've done it to see if any of them were looked up before the shootings in D.C. and Israel. I don't know about Israel. D.C. certainly. I could run through some of those sometimes. I remember Audrey Hale was one that we looked up because she was here in Nashville, local to Nashville. Audrey Hale was one. There have been others. And, early on after I started covering the Charlie Kirk stuff on this podcast and people started tuning in, I ran one on a couple of shootings that took place on the same day. One was the Mormon, I don't know, are they called churches? I'm not being rude. I just don't know. The Mormon facility in Michigan. I ran a search on that guy. Crazy hits all over the place in the days and weeks leading up to it. And then there was a shooting at a bar or something, maybe the same day or a couple of days before that in North Carolina. I ran those searches. Go back and watch those episodes. It was like the first, second, maybe like the second or third, fourth episode I did on the Charlie Kirk trend. Go back and watch those, or I can do some more. I'm fine with that. I am concerned that, and that's why I started videoing these searches while I'm doing them. I'm not vain, and it's not that I want to pay for a bunch of storage because I have to pay to store it. It's that I started getting challenged when I would publish something, and then they would go back and say, well, that's not showing up anymore. I'm like, well, I can't help you. They're taking it down. They're actively removing the searches from the archive. And I can't help that. I don't control Google. I can't stop them from doing it. Thank you, Brandy. Super sticker. Thank you, Wally. Jack E. Thank you. Jackie? Amanda Van Allen Radiation Bait, Van Allen Radiation Belt. A League of Our Own is one of my favorites. I just watched it. I have a baseball card signed by an original Rockford Peach. Now that's something special. That's something special. Broski, put up a QR code and send you Bitcoin. Does that violate the YouTube terms of service? I'll put one up on Twitter. I'll put my wallet up on Twitter. Then you guys can dig through it and see the people who sent me transactions 11 years ago. You'll see those transactions. You'll say, boy, if he'd have just kept all those, he'd be a quadrillionaire. I don't have diamond hands. I'll admit it. Thanks, Jackie. Mr. Bruce Lee, $50. People need to realize that our leaders are a bunch of alcoholic sexual deviants. They are that and more. They're that and more. That's the uniparty. That's the uniparty. How do you know someone can be trusted? They're not in the uniparty. That's it. That's the answer. There's no other way. There's no other way. How do I trust Candace? Not in the uniparty. Ian? Not in the uniparty. Not feeding me uniparty slop. Does that mean I'm going to agree with every single person not in the uniparty on every issue? No. Like Bernie Sanders isn't in the uniparty. I don't agree with him on every issue. Don't agree with him on many issues. But I know I can trust him. That's the difference, you see? I know I can trust him. Hey, Byron. Is there someone new on the program named Byron? Nope, I'm the only one in here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just want to say, awesome podcast. Thank you. You've listened so long. You thought my name was Byron. I kid. I don't really care. Check out Kurt Metzger. He's a comedian and Jimmy Dore sidekick and conspiracy theory wizard. I like Jimmy Dore. I'm familiar with Kurt Metzger. And I watch a lot of Jimmy Dore clips. I don't watch a lot of Jimmy Dore shows, but I do watch a lot of Jimmy Dore clips, 10, 15, 20-minute clips. I like him a lot. I like Kurt Metzger. Techie Head, $50. Thank you. McClintock's very first photos from 910 capture squib tubing under Charlie's shirt before they could hide it. Google Laissez-Faire Lounge Substack. What's under Charlie's shirt? I knew Charlie had a chubby neck compared to old photos. Let me show you one photo that caught my eye. I actually sent this to a friend of mine who thought I was completely nuts. And I said, does this look like a normal neck to you? That's what I asked. Now, this is all credit to Charles McClintock Wilson here. He's been very generous letting us use his photos on the site. That's a weird, I'm sorry, that's weird. That's a weird thing going on there. I don't know what that is. Maybe he's done that in the past. Look, I would love to believe Charlie's alive. Like if you came to me today and said, it was all an act, Charlie's alive. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't know what that is. I just noticed something. He ate strawberries. Look, he's got a little fleck of red right there and 2 little black strawberry seed specks. He ate strawberries on his way in. I don't want to go out with strawberry seeds in my teeth, guys. I don't want to do that. That's not how I want to go. I want to show up at the pearly gates freshly flossed. But yeah, that looks weird. I'll be honest with you. Being 100% honest, just being a bro with you guys. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. And I've asked many people. And it's right where the wound was. Now, it's possible the answer I got back from my friend is, no. I knew Charlie personally. He had a tick he did with he would like pull on himself a lot. Like do that. Okay. I can accept that. If that's the legitimate answer, I can accept that. But I've never seen that before. It's bigger than his Adam's apple. Look at that. It's big. Like this is his Adam's apple over here. And this is like a giant chunnel under the English Channel. I don't know. Maybe. I told you I'm 5% of the way there. I said that last night. I said I'm 5% of the way there. That he's still alive in Valhalla somewhere. Isn't that right, Cash? 5% of the way that he's in Valhalla somewhere. You don't think Valhalla VFT had anything to do with scuttling him out of there, do you? I hope not. I'll watch that guy's podcast. I don't want to see him go to jail. I like old Valhalla. He's good people. He's good people. But yeah, I saw that. I don't know what it is either. TP knows the feds know about creative financial activity. Talking Points knows that the feds know about creative financial activity. That's why the Flintstones are pushing the fake story so hard. $5 the pup, please. I don't know, man. That sounds a little like OnlyFans to me. Like Only Pups. Like I'm going to give you pictures of my dog's undercarriage for $5. I probably could arrange it, though. Let me see if anybody's awake. I know they're awake. Let's see if they're on the phone. Can you bring Tilly in here? They want to meet her. We'll see. Yeah. The door's locked. Go get the key. They're trying. All right, $5. Look, this is the only time you can OnlyFans my dog. And we're not giving you any undercarriage shots nor feet shots for $5. Thank you very much. It's going to cost you way more to get those paws. No paws for free. That's not the way we work in this household. Hey, Baron Canadian here. Heard your monologue a few days ago and subbed immediately. Thank you. Thank you, P. Yumi. Thanks for the show. Super chat cost me $700 Canadian. That sounds about right. I have no idea what the Canadian conversion is. When I was a kid, we always used to make fun of the Canadian conversion. But I honestly don't know what it was. I know that I don't see it anymore. It used to be on almost all products you would see, and it would say $6 US dollars, $8 Canadian. Tilly? Yeah, come here. Come here. Tilly, come here. Up here. Come on. Come on. Come on. I know you're good and you don't jump up, but we're jumping up tonight. Come here. They want to see you. Come here. Look. Oh. Hang on. Come on. I got to get this comment off. There we go. There's the pup. You guys got a little pup action there. Yeah, she's good too. Hey. Ah. So there's your pup. That's all you're getting. This is like only pups. They paid $5. You get the people what they want. My wife is questioning this arrangement. All right, that's all they get for $5. You want more than that? You gotta pony up. You gotta pony up. Oh goodness gracious, the camera's falling. Oh well, we'll get that fixed in a second. There's your $5 pup moment. That's close enough. Gosh, those camera stands are weird. Yeah, that was $700 Canadian. I hope that was worth it. Why are you being a jerk to a fellow patriot, patriotic housewife? I'm going to start stealing your stuff you stole from Candace and everyone else. I quote them. I cite them. I never steal from somebody without citing. All I said is cite your sources. Cite your sources. I went off the air at like 10 or 11, 10:30, and she did a 3-minute show at 11 that was basically my whole segment on Dan Flood. Okay. I have requested the archive. I'm not explaining myself here. I don't care. I've requested the archive from Twitter because what I did was I tried to minimize the exposure. I tried at first to find a public email. She didn't have one that I could find. Like her YouTube page doesn't have a linked email. That's fine. And then I tried to DM her on Twitter. She only had like 200 followers on Twitter. I tried to send her DM. It won't let you unless you follow each other. I don't follow anyone, and she doesn't follow me, I don't think. And so I couldn't do that. So I thought, well, I'll just comment. She only has 200 followers. No one's going to see it. And I said, hey, just, if you're going to do a show, cite your sources. You will never get me to cry saying that. I didn't accuse anyone of anything. I didn't say you're a horrible person. It was the mildest critique I've ever offered. I love stealing people's stuff, and I cite the hell out of them because if I feel like I can trust them enough to use their stuff, go watch it. I referenced Ian and Nick Fuentes. Ian put out a dynamite show today on Nick Fuentes. It's a couple hours. Go watch it. It's excellent. Excellent show. Go watch it. I pulled from Candace today. I pulled the damn screen up and showed you. But if you're going to actually use screenshots, come on. And you don't even know how to use the screenshots properly, that's even worse. Charlie Kirk also said Megyn Kelly days before he died that he was being called anti-Semite. Yeah, this is a pattern with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk ran around time and time again telling people, oh, they're going to kill me. Oh, I'm having trouble with the Jewish people. Oh, I'm having trouble with my donors. Oh, I'm having trouble with people in Israel. Oh, I feel like I'm going to be killed. And then he finally gets killed, and everybody's like, yeah, it's probably a furry. Almost assuredly a furry. I have no idea what all that stuff was about he was talking about. We'll just blame it on the furry. Problem boss, the furry took a 30-06, which would have decapitated him. Well, tell him he ate spinach. It's like Popeye the Sailor Man. Just got done slinging mail. Mail lady running a mail run at 7:40. Mine comes early. Thought I missed you. No, ma'am. Good to see you. My comment yesterday meant, did my funny comment on your older video the day before take you back to the Life is Driving's video? Oh, gosh. You see the references I'm talking about? There's like a reference chain here. I don't know. I wish I knew more. Thank you for the generous donation. I wish I could help you. Life is Driving video 5406 timestamp. Guy with mild limp waves to cops on top of roof as parking parking seems weird. Any thoughts? Well, my first thought is I can't understand exactly what you're saying because of typos. But my second thought is I do typos in supers as well. So I have trouble with that. But I am so intrigued by what you're saying here that I'm going to pull it up. All right. What was the timestamp? 54:06. Let's look at it together. Shall we? Let me get it queued up and then we will pull it up. All right. Share screen. Life is driving in 3, 2, 1. Share. All right, what are you saying? Guy with mild limps waves to cops on top of roof. So we're at 53:38. You said 54:06. So we got 6 seconds. I'm waiting with bated breath. Okay, I saw somebody there waving. Mild limp on top of roof. I didn't see anybody on the roof. Where are they? Oh, they're way the hell down there. Let's see it again. Okay, so I think he's thinking way over here on the left-hand side. See this roof bridge on the left-hand side that looks like it runs into that tree? Let's see if we see someone over there with a mild limp. I don't see a limp. I saw the wave. Yeah, I'm all for a good conspiracy theory, but I didn't see that one. Thank you for the donation. Edge. Dan is sus for no other reason than he worked for Benny. Add the circumstantial behavior, and he's a full traitor in my book. Oh, BB. I have heard people tell me that he worked for BB. I have not seen definitive bulletproof evidence. I've seen a picture of a very younger guy. Is that him? Because I have not seen any evidence where someone says, that's Dan Flood. Look, here's a citation. I just saw where there was a security guard for BB that kind of looked like a younger Dan Flood years ago. I admit that would be suspicious. Hold please, hold please. You crack me up. You should make a short clip just saying hold please. I don't realize I say it that often. I think I said this last show or two. I wanted to, if I didn't say it. Someone accused me of saying hold please a lot. I got dog hair all over me now. Someone accused me of saying hold please a lot, so I thought, I don't say hold please that much. I went back through several transcripts, and it was like 30-something times I'd said it in the past 4 or 5 shows. So I apologize. It won't happen again. Hey, it'll happen again. Sorry, Baron, I misspelled your name earlier. I called you Byron. The best $5 you've ever spent, sir. I can assure you of that. I can promise you. I really appreciate it. Love Ian and Candace, but they both sound very lispy. I hate hearing saliva sounds. Huh? Your mic is better. You just know how to work it. You're way funnier. I mean, I'm granted, I'm very deaf. I am very deaf. I can't, I try to talk on the phone without hearing aid. I mean, without either hearing aids or anything. Anytime someone calls, I have to say, hold on, I got to put my headphones in. Those headphones are tuned to my hearing aid. So my hearing aid has my hearing loss tuned into it, you know? This is the same brand of headphone. That's why I have this generic looking headphone. It's the same brand, and when you connect it to your phone, it mimics your hearing aid. Pretty dope, huh? So nothing sounds muddy to me. Like this sounds very muddy in here. I have to crank it way high in order to hear the subtle sounds. I don't know. I've never heard them sound saliva-y or lispy or whatever you're saying right there. They both sound pretty clean to me, and I've been around broadcasting a long time. I think we all have the same mic or very similar mic. I think they're both on Shure mics. So I can't imagine it's a microphone issue. I don't know. I think they're great. I think a lot of people are great. There are a lot. The thing with podcasting is, and let me use this as an opportunity to step off something. There are so many people who would be good broadcasters, but they don't get the reps. Broadcasting takes reps. You can't just jump in and do it. I would have people all the time, they're like, I could do your job. When I was on the radio full time, I'm like, okay, great, come be a guest. They just sat there. They would say one word. Yes. That makes sense. And I'm like, dude, we're having a conversation. These people are driving in their car, and you're going to cause them to have an accident because you're boring me to death. I'm falling asleep, and I'm getting paid to be here. I'm trying to get these people to stay on my channel. Please kick it up a notch. And but podcasting gives people reps. I have had multiple people, I think 3 people in the last 2 weeks that I've offered to listen to an entire first or second episode of theirs to see what they sound like. I've done it for 2 of them. I think I have one more who may have just sent me a new one today. And here's what I'll say. I mean, you know, do they need reps? Yes, they all need reps. But are they going to get reps if they go to the local FM talk station in Tampa and say, hey, I want to be on the air. Can I practice? No. They're going to say, get the hell out of here. What do you mean come in here and practice? And I'm sorry, you can try it at home, but until you're putting yourself out there, you hit live and you're throwing your stuff out there on YouTube, or you're just talking into a camera and you're recording it and you throw it out there on YouTube, anyone who's done this will tell you it is totally different. I used to get so panicked before I went and did a show. The very first time I was on talk radio, I think, was during a congressional election in 2010. I think it was 2010, 2009, 2010. And it was a little, I think it was an AM station at the time. It might have been a little FM talk station. But I go in and I sit down, and I mean, you know, you hear yourself through the headphones. The microphone's right there, and I mean, it sounds like it's just booming over the microphone. And I thought, oh, this is so uncomfortable. I grew up a talk radio junkie. I used to drive down the road listening to talk radio. They would ask the host a question, and I would hit power, and then I would answer as if I was the host to try to get reps, to try to get better. I would work on coming in and out of breaks as if I was Rush Limbaugh. Welcome back. Having it, you know. The only way to do it is to get reps. Well, podcasting gives you reps. It's amazing. And I'm seeing a lot of people I've mentioned the patriotic housewife. She's getting reps. She has gotten better. I watch her stuff. That's why I was kind of disappointed in the whole exchange. And look, you guys want me to apologize to her. Lady, I apologize to you. I can't remember your full name, Nicole. I apologize to you. I do. I don't try to hurt people's feelings. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. I'm not out to hurt people's feelings. I'm out to make you better. That's my goal, is to make you a better podcaster. We need better podcasters on our side. And what's going to happen is somebody who's a lot meaner than I am, instead of commenting on a Twitter post with 200 people and then deleting it as soon as I know she saw it, somebody with a much bigger platform and the millions of subscribers is going to get irritated if they feel like their content is being stolen. And they're going to crush some of these people. And so I'm out there just like doing a favor, like, hey, cite your sources. If you cover someone's stuff, if you cover the same show, you know, if you got a tip from them, cite the source. If you saw something on their show and you think, hey, I've got an interesting take on that, cite your source. Say, hey, I saw this watching Bierer tonight. Here's something he didn't think about, or here's a different angle on that. Here's what it could mean. Here's a fourth possibility. You know, I gave you 3 possibilities. Here's a fourth possibility. That'd be great content. Dude, I would be all over that. I'd be commenting, throwing her a super. Reps. It's reps. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I don't mind a veteran podcaster reaching out to me, and they have. You know, I used to bury these supers in the middle or like pick them up as I went. Ian, veteran podcaster, said, just put them at the end. Put them at the end. You can make a whole show out of them. Like, I respond to the super, so it's part of the content. But that way, people know what's coming, and they know that this is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, great tip. I would love to get better. I'm all ears. Hey, your lighting sucks. Great, let me get some more backlighting. I'm fine with that. I'm getting my reps. But that's what I love about podcasting is everybody's a journalist. It's like when Andrew Breitbart used to pick up his phone in front of, you guys remember Andrew Breitbart? He died, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 years ago. He was a fierce guy, but he used to pick up his phone and when he spoke in front of a crowd and say, listen, if you have one of these, you're a journalist. I say now, if you have one of these, not only are you a journalist, you're a broadcaster. Get yourself, if you want to do this, you could get a whole setup. They're not terribly expensive. Start going live or start doing videos and edit them down. Contribute to the ecosphere. Get your reps in. You'll get better. You will get better. It'll feel awkward at first. You'll think, why am I doing this? This sucks. I can't tell you how. Even I was a part-time fill-in for 3 years before I got my own show. As soon as I get my own show, I sit down on day one. You'd think I'd had enough reps to be comfortable. I was a nervous wreck. It's like I'd never been on the radio before. So I love podcasting. I love broadcasting in general. I think it's great. This is what the founders had in mind. Honestly, they didn't know about the internet. They didn't know about the microphone. They didn't know about electricity. I mean, not the way we use it. They didn't know about indoor lighting. They didn't know about, 5 screens in front of you and, ports on top of ports and everything plugged in and fans and backlighting and cloud light. They didn't know about all that. Did you know what they knew about? Citizens communicating with one another. That's what they were protecting. Citizens communicating with one another in the most modern means available. If it was the printing press, the telephone, the AM radio, the FM radio, the internet. This is what they had in mind. And I'm in favor of people taking advantage of it. You may never get more than 5 people watch your show. That's fine. Get your reps in. Get your reps in. It's the devil, Ian. Absolutely on the money, Baron. It's not gay is bad. It's closeted gay and blackmailable and controlled. Goes all the way back to J. Edgar Hoover. Diddy did the same in the music industry. One nation under blackmail politics. That you've just summarized everything I tried to say cleaner, easier, more concisely, and better than I ever could have. You did a whole monologue in 2.5 lines. That's exactly the problem. I don't care what these people do on their spare time. I don't kink shame. But when national security or economic policy or human rights or our right, if they hang in the balance, then it becomes a problem. If they hang in the balance because you're lying to everybody, that's where the problem comes in. That's where the problem comes in. You've nailed it. Great call. Or great call. Great. Some old habits die hard. Great comment. Dre Latina, $50. Wow. Catholic clergy, endemic homosexuality. Hard to focus on the mass when it's in your face. How do you deal with it as a Catholic? Yeah, it's talking among boys here. It's real. How do you deal with it? I saw somewhere where someone, I don't know if this was true or not, but they were saying that some intel agency, I don't remember if it was foreign intel or American intel, had tracked all the Catholic bishops, and they found like 80-something% of them were leading some sort of lifestyle. And then they went and they did the same thing with, like, I don't remember if it was Baptist or Presbyterian or something. They found like horrific abuse there. There's something to be said. There's something to be said for the devil is going to strike the hardest at the leadership that is going to destroy him. Right? So if Satan himself or demonic forces or demons or whatever you want to call them, I think we're all talking about the same stuff, but evil parallel dimensional beings, I don't care what you want to call them, but if they feel like the church leadership, whether it's Catholic or anything else, any kind of Christian leadership is the biggest threat to them, that's where they're going to strike the hardest. And that's kind of how I look at it. I almost feel bad for people who go into church leadership, because I think, man, you've got a tough road to hoe. You're going to have this temptation in your face all the time. Not just sexual temptation, drugs, alcohol, money, excess. I mean, look what they did to Jesus. Took him to the top. You can throw yourself off. They'll catch you. You can have this whole empire that we're building out here. It can be yours. You can make these rocks turn into bread. You don't have to be hungry. It's the same temptation that church leadership faces. And it's really tough. It's really tough. I am probably going to get run out of conservative Catholic circles here. I'm in favor of married clergy. I think there should be 2 tiers of clergy, married and non-married clergy. Married clergy would take tremendous pressure off of the current clergy, the current Catholic Church leadership. It's what we call merely ecclesiastical law, meaning this is not dogma. It's not doctrine that Catholic priests can't be married. It's just current papal whim, and it can be changed at a current papal whim. I'm sure they have good reasons for it. But if you supplemented the celibate clergy and you let them be the pastors and them run the parishes, but you supplemented and you had 2, 3, 4, 5 married men on staff as clergy, supplementing the unmarried clergy who's running the parish, you would take tremendous pressure off. Pressure to do 3, 4, 5, 6 masses every weekend. Mass every morning for your daily mass people. Every hospital visit, every prison visit, every sick person anointing at their house, every blessing of every new home, everything. You have tremendous pressure on these priests. And I think if you allowed people to be married and be priests, particularly retired men, they would just, you hit 60 and you're like, well, I've got a lot of money. I'll go to school, and by the time I'm 64, 65, I'll be a priest, and I can serve my last 10 or 15 years in the priesthood. And I can do all these hospital visits. I can, celebrate the occasional mass and be ready to go. I think it would be great for the parish. I think it'd be great for the church. I'm not the Pope. I was eligible for the papacy this past May. They chose Leo. They got close. They threw the dart. They hit America, but they didn't get me. We got our first American Pope, but it was not me. Thank you for your donation. Edie Bronx Girl, $10. Charlie Kirk incident has been a new education venue for me, thanks to collab of experts, gun, military, planes, and sleuths alike. True color of podcasters, leaders, TPUSA, FBI, White House coming to light. That was my monologue. That was the whole monologue. How long was that? It felt like it was going forever. I think it'd be noted that was one of my longer ones I'd written out. I'm thinking of, let me go back to this for a second. I'm thinking of consolidating the monologues from each month into like the monologues November, the monologues December. But I don't want to go through all that work if people wouldn't really use it. I think it should be noted TPUSA never said they would answer Candace's questions. Good point. They said they would address her accusations and she could attend. I believe their wording matters. I think they were going to sabotage her. I think their goal was to put her in the corner, put a camera on her, make her look ridiculous. Not give her a desk, give her an undersized chair, and just have her sitting off in the back like this. Not able to say. I think they would have humiliated her. And tried to zoom in on her face if she made any faces. Oh, it'd have been awful. I'm frankly glad they pulled the rug on her. Just because it was not what we all thought, which was going to be a nice little debate, and I'll make an accusation and you can respond, or you make an accusation, I can respond, or we'll flesh it out. You'll answer my question. What about this? What about this? What about that? They weren't going to do any of that. Guys, they prepared the statement announcing the invitation. He couldn't even go off the cuff to give the invitation. You think they're going to let her get up there and ask questions off the cuff? Hell no. That's going to be so scripted. It's going to be a PowerPoint. It's going to be like the work meeting from hell. You walk in and there's the PowerPoint presentation is already up when you sit down. You're like, oh boy, here we go. Not doing anything today. Thank you. Glad to find your channel. You're doing an incredible job with your research and investigative work. Your opening statements are fantastic. Keep up the great work. God bless you and your family, and go Max. Thank you, Blonde B. Very kind of you. The opening statement is more than half of my prep time on a given show. Those unfortunately take hours, but I enjoy giving them. Regarding Immanuel Bierer, I think Candace Owens was interested in how these news outlets learned about him when she's seen no evidence he was in the crowd that day. Is he a plant? That's a great question. Thank you for the additional context. And it's a great question. It's a great question. My question is, how did they find out that a guy in Salt Lake City the same day had information? I don't know the answer. That's a good point, though. Thank you. Look at the people to the left of the traffic director. Those prime aren't alarmed or moving. Who are we looking at? I just need to live on this life is driving. video. I just need to keep it pulled up. So he's let's see. I'll go right to the crowd rushing. Let's pull it up and learn together. Look at the people to the left of the traffic director. Did you mean what you said when you said prime? Those prime are not. I don't even know what that means. Those prime are not. All right. Let me go forward just a hair because it is a little bit forward to this. Oh, no. Oh, now I've really screwed it up. All right, here we go. He'll go over the banister here in just a second. Oh, this is good. You remember the Brian Harpole? You remember the Brian Harpole interview questions where he said they didn't give us what we wanted, and one of the things they said they wanted was controlled access of the roof area behind Charlie Kirk. Those yellow caution tapes, that's police tape. They created a temporary criminal trespass zone and controlled the access. Like, that's literally what they asked for. Anyway, that's not the point we were making tonight. Let me go back. All right, now people are starting to skedaddle. It's been 13 seconds after the shot. We're up to just now 20 seconds after the shot. What a weird angle, man. I would love to believe all this is innocent. All right. Look, so we got a guy directing traffic down here, right under this square that I just pulled up. Let me get your comment out of the way. Look at the people to the left of the traffic director. Oh, I pulled it back up. I think he's talking about those people. No. I mean, there's a guy standing in the bush. What in the hell is up with this bush? All day, from an hour or two before the event until literally people are fleeing the scene, there's someone standing in the bush. I've been to a lot of public events. I've never seen someone stand in a bush. This is the only time, and it's been hours of bush standing. People standing to the left. Yeah, I think they're talking about the people in front of that tent. Yeah, they did not look very. It's hard when I'm only given the direction people to the left. They didn't look very alarmed. You're right. Candace mentioned another Pierre Falcone. Is that the Pierre you were thinking? No, I was thinking of Pierre Omidyar. Omidayr. I wasn't necessarily going to go through all this guy's stuff, but I'll show you quickly who I'm talking about. I'll just show you his wiki here. This is who I'm talking about. Pierre Omidyar. He is a French-born Iranian billionaire. He is the founder of eBay. He donated a lot of money on left-hand politics for a long time. And then started plowing money into right-wing causes. But he was born in Paris. This guy's literally a French American. Lives in America now. And he is, donating money to, I don't know. I got a whole bunch of research on this guy. I wasn't prepared to pull it up tonight. He's donating a lot of money to causes that seem like if he wanted to donate a lot of money to TPUSA, they would have had to leave the pro-Israeli cause. And it seemed like for the last couple of years, Charlie was getting fed up with it. So I don't know Pierre Falcone. I'll have to look him up. Thanks for the great show. Thanks for the great donation and the kind words. Thank you. Baron, you spent a couple decades building what Scott Adams calls your talent stack. Your investment is paying off big, and I think your sobriety makes your current success possible. Thank you, and God bless you. You know what's interesting about this, TJ? I had this exact thought in the shower the other day. Like, I go back to when I graduated from college, I took a job at the Department of Revenue, the State Department of Revenue, in the property tax division. If I still worked there, let's see, I started at 22. I would have been eligible for retirement at 47 next year. I would have been eligible for a full retirement, and I could start drawing it immediately under the Tier 1 benefit system that was in place at the time at age 47 next year. From there, I went to law school, and that job actually helped get me to law school because there was a guy in the legal department who asked me to help him with a project he was working on one day, and I hated my job. It was so boring. And he asked me to look up some stuff and make some copies out of some legal books, and I was like, this is what I was born to do. This is great. I love this. It was like putting a puzzle together. I love puzzles. I actually just ordered some puzzles from Amazon the other day. Those little metal pieces, you got to figure out how to undo them. And so I went to law school. I got to law school. I thought, this is what I'm born to do. And I went and started a little tiny civil defense firm, and I was able to try cases right away. That was kind of why, like, the interest in going to a smaller firm is you're not carrying a briefcase for 10 years before you make partner. Like, you're in the courtroom year one. And I tried my first case 6 to 8 months, 9 months after I got out. I got a defense verdict. This was great. I mean, we were representing the defendant. And I thought, this is what I was born to do. Civil defense. I want to try car wrecks. My whole life. That's all I want to do. Well, I went from there. I left. I went to work for a bank. I got some good experience there. Then I went to work for a medical malpractice defense firm. Didn't like it so much. Then I opened my own practice, and that's when I kind of went into radio, and I started doing criminal defense, a specialized type of criminal defense. And I really liked that. I did that for years. And I thought, no, this is what I was born to do. But it took the experience of everything I had been working on up to that point. I had to know how to try a case. I had to know how to think about medicine because of the type of criminal defense I was doing. So the medical malpractice defense came into that. And then I kind of left the practice of law for a little while. I didn't leave it. I was always kind of practicing, but I started doing a lot more political consulting. Started out with a legal angle. People would hire me to file paperwork for campaigns or double check their financial disclosures or help them fill out ethics forms. And that kind of turned into a full-blown political consulting gig for a while. Met a lot of really cool people, traveled all over the country. I still have some of those friends, still talk to them regularly. And I thought, this is what I'm born to do. And from there, I went into full-time radio, and I thought, no, this is what I'm born to do. But I had to have the political experience to understand the radio. I had to have the legal experience, and I had to have the medical and scientific thought process experience. And I had to know a little bit about banking, and I had to know a little bit about nonprofits. And I thought, this is what I'm born to do. So then I leave radio, and I go work for a defense contractor for a short period of time. And then I went to my current job. And the whole time I was doing my current job, I'm like, no, this is what I was born to do. Like, this is exactly, it takes everything I've ever learned, the communication, the preparation, the thought process. And then I start this podcast, and I think, no, even more. Now this is what I'm supposed to do. So you're right. I'm building my stack. I didn't know he called that a talent stack. I'm a big fan of people getting as many experiences as possible. I think I would have been miserable if I would have stayed. I don't know this. Maybe there's some great people that work at the Department of Revenue forever. But I think I'd have been miserable, 46 years old, 1 year away from retirement, flipping over the calendar every day, waiting for my life to finally begin. I've lived like 10 lives since I left that job. I've lived in multiple states. I've lived in 15 houses, different houses, traveled all over the country for work, met some of the greatest people. I've been in wild situations. If I start telling you some of the situations I've been in, you guys won't believe me and think I'm BSing you. I mean, wild situations. Represented some wild people. People you guys may have heard of. And, I was interviewing a mayor one time, and he knew my law partner really well. And he said, you got to have your hand in your pocket, and you got to have your money in your hand at all times, because a bus could stop in front of you, and that bus may be taking you where you want to go. And if you don't have your money in your pocket, meaning you're not prepared, you don't have the preparation, you don't have the talent stack, or you don't have you're not ready to make the move. If you don't have your money in your pocket and you don't have your hand on your money, when that bus comes by, you're going to miss it. And even if you have your hand on your money and you have the money in your pocket to get on the bus, you still got to get on the bus. And I've thought about that so many times. And there have been so many times I've gotten on the bus. And I've loved it. I mean, there have been some, look, it's not all been gravy. There have been a couple of years that we really struggled because I got on a bus that didn't pay very well. Assuming faction's not in evidence. I'll allow it. My new shoes arrived today. I get excited about shoes the same way you get excited about hoodies. Adriana, I just got new shoes in the mail last week, early this week. They're workout shoes. I worked out one time in them. I get it. I wear Vans just kicking around the town, so I don't put a lot of emphasis in footwear. As you can tell, I don't put a lot of emphasis in how I dress. I'm sure when I go to church, people look at me, they're like, what up? Is he homeless? Like, I took my 7-year-old daughter to mass today in a hoodie much like this. Actually, I think it was a hoodie I wore last night on the show, if I remember rightly. 1922 traffic director. The first time the camera pans, you can see the guy in white is already directing people. Ooh, now dang it. Now I got to pull it back up for like the 17th time. Is that true? Because 1922 would be like 3 seconds. Or no, 13 seconds. So the shot went off at 1907, right? I was saying 1917 earlier. So let me, is that true? You can see it that soon? So there's 1909. Oh, that was the shot. So it went off in 1909. You're saying at 1922, you can already see the guy directing traffic? Where is he? I got to see the bottom of this big screen. I got something in front of it. So that's 1920. That's 1923. That's him. Yeah, he's already directing traffic. I'll be dadgummed. Is the guy in the bush right there? I'll be dadgummed. That is wild. I mean, is that evidence of a plan? I don't know. Real Bays, $20. Found an interesting Fox News clip of your good friend Rob McCoy saying he thinks Charlie's shooting was a pro hit. I saw that. I missed it earlier because I didn't really follow him until I watched you, wondering if you've seen it. I have seen it. It was taken the day of or the day after, I think. There were a lot of people saying it was a professional hit, including Benny Johnson, who I think now is pushing the Fed slop narrative. So before everybody was told this is what we have to push, it became pretty obvious to a lot of people it looked like a pro hit. Look like a pro hit. Before I go dropping bets on the hoodie color of the day, do you even own a pink hoodie? I own a kind of a light red hoodie. Does that count? I don't own a pink hoodie. Like girl pink. I don't own that. I do own a pink t-shirt. That's the only pink thing I own. You should consider partnering with Ian to automate your Google searching. He has some nerdy friends that could hook you up. Go Max, brother. Duly noted. Thank you, Argentum. Did I make it back? I don't know what's going on. Solar flares. I don't know how to get to the big one, the big screen. And I can't get that one to leave. Remove. Ah, there we go. Woo, that was tough. Guys, start talking about Fed slop and you get taken off the air. Oh my gosh. I got to get that fixed. I got a note in the middle of that said that StreamYard, it's like if you're having an issue, contact StreamYard. I'm like, well, how's that going to help me? How's that going to help me? All right, let me get back into the, where was I? Right there. Baron, I just found your channel. Love your awesome content. Did you hear Milo outed Benny Johnson? I heard Milo had comments about Benny Johnson, yes. Milo said Benny's wife was at the bar crying. He was back. Yeah, I heard it. Did you not hear when I was covering the cat fighting that I said I wasn't going to cover the allegations? I heard his opinion. This show does not have an opinion on Benny Johnson. Being a, what do you call it? No, I'm not going to say it. Oh, Lord. No, we don't have opinions on Benny Johnson on this page. I don't know Benny Johnson. I'll be honest. I've never met him. I don't think I've ever been in the same room as he has. If I have, I don't remember. I have no opinion whatsoever. I did. Well, should I even say that? Yeah, I should. The day Charlie Kirk was taken from this mortal coil, one person called me and said, keep your eye on Tyler Boyer. And the other guy said, keep your eye on Benny Johnson. And I said, Tyler Boyer, I understand. Why Benny Johnson? They said, because this is a job he will want and he will angle for it. But I never saw evidence of that. That's why I said I shouldn't say it. Because I don't know I mean, it was just his opinion. But I never saw evidence of it. You know, I wouldn't say I'm a big Benny fan. I think he's, a uniparty guy. But that goes with Milo's allegations. Dovetailing your encouragement to folks to do their own Google Trends research fund, Kyle Howard Rittenhouse was searched from Israel prior to the Kenosha riots. You can't do everything. Activate Google Trends, y'all. My favorite email I get is, hey, you should do this. And it's like a 9-hour research project. Why can't you do it? Like, I mean, you think I've got 9? You should watch these 4 videos. They'll help explain everything. And then you click on the first one. It's 3.5 hours long. Oh, yeah, I'm going to watch 14 hours of video. Where am I going to fit this in? Like, I don't do other stuff? Could you summarize it for me, please? So thank you for taking it, Mitchell, upon yourself to do that. That's good research. That's good research. Do something with it. Put it on Twitter. Make a YouTube video. Put it up. Have some fun with it. Why are we all scared? Go Max, brother. Go Max. You the man. Appreciate all your hard work. Thank you, Dunthate. Thank you. Booze before brains. What does that mean? Some chase truth. Most chase spirits, just not the holy kind. Alcohol is inviting a demon to take over your meat suit. I think there are some people that should not drink alcohol. I count myself among them. I think I could probably recommend to some people that they shouldn't drink alcohol based on how I see them behave when they do. But I don't think everybody should abstain from all alcohol all the time. Now, I will say this. If you abstain from it, you necessarily will not fall trap to the addictions and out of control things that alcohol can do to you. Like, alcohol can really destroy your life. It is a highly addictive, mind-altering substance. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use. I mean, so is caffeine. That doesn't mean you can't use it responsibly. So is nicotine. I was a nicotine user for a long, long time. Still a caffeine user. I'm slowly becoming Mormon. In diet, Mormon diet. I gave up the alcohol, then I gave up the nicotine, and I'm down to like a cup of coffee a day. I think I had 1 cup of coffee today. I'm like 94% Joseph Smith at this point. And I've been to the temple in Salt Lake City. And I used to own a Book of Mormon, I think. I think I had one. I don't know where it is, though. I'm with him on the diet. I don't know about the rest of it, but I'm with him on the diet. But that doesn't mean that somebody can't, at their wedding reception, have a toast of champagne with their guests. I don't do that. Like, I don't even drink communion wine anymore. I go through the communion line, host, back to the pew. I don't even do the communion wine. Why? Don't want to tempt myself. Why would I? Why? I mean, I know it's not good for me, so why would I tempt myself with tasting it, feeling it on my breath, feeling that warmth? Why? Ooh, it sounds delicious right now. Being here, like, pouring out some Jim Beam. It all started with a sip of, not even a sip of communion wine. It started with talking about a sip of communion wine. What they want us to believe is so far out of common sense. Even Hollywood's writers couldn't make this storyline up. Yeah, honestly, if you went to a movie and the plot was that some 20-year-old who lived with a furry stole granddad's rifle, 30-06, and heard Charlie Kirk was going to be into town, and then happened to get in the exact right spot on the roof and happened to Spider-Man down off the back of the roof and elude all the police officers responding to the scene, the feds that arrived allegedly in 13 to 16 minutes, which I still find unbelievable. That FBI agents were there in under 20 minutes. I think that's, I'm not going to say it's evidence of anything weird, but it's weird. That was Cash bragging about that. I'm like, dude, you don't want to brag about that. Some things you just don't want to say. Keep that to yourself. Don't take credit for that. That looks terrible, Cash. Go away. But yeah, that's no one would believe it. No one would believe it. Oh, the 30-06 that landed softly in his neck and didn't even go out of the back? That 30-06? The one that simultaneously went up to hit his C2, which is back here, by the way, and down to hit the C6, which is down here, by the way. You're talking a bullet that broke, one single bullet broke vertebrae at 6 different levels, across, or 5 different levels across 6 inches, and then had enough left to get down into the heart? No. Sorry, Hollywood. Passing on that script. Come back when you've got a winner. Ogre, Dems versus Republicans, a lot like the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals. But they switch off which is which depending on the issue. What they do is they slowly migrate the Overton window farther and farther into slavery. That's what they're doing. Thank you for the donation. Mail lady, she's back. What's your take on Genesis 1 compared to the narrative? LOL. Yes, I'm asking about the flat earth. I tend to take it for what it says. Family thinks I'm crazy. I've got, how many people are on here right now? Oh, only 5,000. I could probably do this with only 5,000. I've got some pretty wild beliefs about Genesis 1 and 2. They don't involve a flat earth. The earth is round, I think. I mean, I've never seen it with my own eyes. I've never walked around it. I've never flown up into space and looked down at it. But my belief on the history of Earth and civilizations that have come before us is pretty wild. I think it's fact-based. It's very wild. And it involves a solar system that looked very different from the one we're looking at right now, meaning the positions the different planets are in. It was very different, and within our own human story. So within the last several thousand years, the solar system looked incredibly different than it did now. And that's why you have, the beginning of time. I think I have a good explanation for where that came from. The waters above and below. I think I've got a good explanation for where that came from. But it would take too long to talk about today. But I think the earth is round, if that's what you're asking. But I've got some wild beliefs. But they're sincere. It's not like I just say things to say things. I sincerely believe they're true. $10. Thank you, Ms. Ange. Wolfie. $15, that is a blood pack under his skin. Oh, you're talking about this image? The one I had up earlier? Do you think that's a blood pack? It's fed by a tube running up the back of his shirt. That's why the blood squirted out in a stream instead of an explosion. I'm convinced this was staged. So you're saying a Hollywood makeup artist ran a blood pack up under there. I mean, that looks like real skin to me, though. I guess that's the whole point of special effects. But that looks to me like real skin. I mean, it looks like real hair, like he's got stubble. Or is that part of it, that he had to have stubble on the rest of his face? He needs a ear hair. Well, he doesn't anymore, but he needed an ear hair trimmer at one time. Such is the quality of a Charles McClintock Wilson photograph that we can do all this. I mean, I see what you're talking about. And I will admit, for a bullet that struck an artery, there was a lot of blood, but it was just a flow. It wasn't like, like I expected it to be. But I honestly, I've never been present when someone's been shot in the artery. So I don't really know. I only know like kind of what I, in my mind, think should happen. Thanks for the donation, Wolfie. Martha, keep doing such amazing work. Fan of your show. Someday I'll have mine. I hope so. I hope you do a good job. I hope you do a great job. Shannon Spano. That's a combination of Shannon Doherty and Jesse Spano. Except that's a character name and an actress name. That doesn't quite work. I'm trying here. On your show yesterday while covering footage, I noticed the old man preacher in flannel standing behind Turek. It's been reported he was by the shrubs the whole time. In this shot, he's to Charlie's right near shrubs. So before the event, I think he did talk to the shrubs at one point. I never thought I would have to use those words in that order. Before the event, he appeared to be talking to shrubs. But during the event, he was standing back in that tunnel the whole time. It's not a preacher. That's the brother of a preacher. That's Butch Hibbs, brother of famed Calvary Chapel preacher Jack Hibbs. But yeah, that's Butch Hibbs. Everything truly is fake and gay. I couldn't have said it better myself, Ange. Couldn't have said it better myself. Unmasked Psych, thank you, Psyche. Like video, y'all. Oh, like the video. Yeah, go like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your buddies. Like, subscribe, share. He's flexing his, don't you use those ugly words on this show, young man, young lady. We're not going to talk about clitomastoids, sternocleidomastoids on this program. No, ma'am. This is a family show that runs along your neck, flex when you move your jaw to the lower side. I think I got a good, do I have a good sternocleidomastoid? I feel it. It's right there. No, if you guys screen cap that, I'm going to break somebody. It's this muscle? Is this it? Yeah, I feel it. Am I doing it? I got a blood pack under there. Young ones not learning to cite sources in university. You're a great researcher. Love your dog. I love my dog. I've got the greatest dog in the history of the world. She's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I do believe that the lack of citation, I think I'm a little bit of a citation aggressor because of my legal background in academics. You feel free to steal, always cite. And I try to do that. Like sometimes I'll forget, but I'll even say, I heard this somewhere, but I don't remember where. I rarely recall a time where I intentionally didn't cite somebody. But even then I'll say, I saw this somewhere, but I don't want to give this person press. I'll admit I'm stealing it. I'll admit it. Trigger Smart's recent guest believes and shows viewers that CK is still alive, that he had a neck and shoulder prosthetic. It's very thought-provoking. I have heard so much about this Trigger Smart guest that I intend to watch the video, but it probably will be several more days before I can get to it. I want to say it might be even Thursday before I can get to it. No, it might be Friday before I can get to it. I've just got a lot to do. I got a lot going on at work. I intend to do one more show this week before Friday. I'm probably going to stick with my normal Friday show because it's kind of a more intimate, smaller setting. A little more conversational. Slim, thank you. D. Bryce, thank you. D. Bruce, thank you. Mr. P.G. Whitaker II, in 2017, Flood was a fellow at the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, APAC. I just asked AI if Dan ever worked in Israel. Oh, so we're taking AI's word for it now? That's where we are? I have to fact check AI all the time. So don't just take his word for it. Let's cite it somewhere else. Well, here's what you can do. When you do, because the AI will draw a lot of gaps. So you go to it and you say, ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or whoever you're talking to, don't BS me. Only say something if you can prove it. Cite your sources. Here's my question. And usually they're pretty good at that point. You got to say, don't BS me. Cite your sources. Only say it if you can prove it. Draw no conclusions that you can't prove. I referenced Tom Hanks under her comments today. You don't have to fight my fights. I don't think it's a fight. Like I said, I apologize. I am sorry. I am not trying to make people cry. You know. And well, that's all I'm going to say about it. I've already said all I'm going to say. Hopefully, trucker hats are going to be a gold mine. Candace has, we don't know, but we know. Barron has his catchphrase, hopefully. Yeah, but hers is dope. Hers is like, I got my eye on you. Mine is like, hold on, I'm a one-man operation. I'm having technical difficulties, and I can't get the screen to pull up. I don't have a producer who can make me look slick and polished. I wish I had a producer who could make me, I wish I had a producer who could make me look slick and polished. Thank you. She posted the 6:30 p.m. screen tip, to be fair. I could go back and find an email or find a comment on anything that's ever been covered. That is nothing. That is nothing. People send tips all day long. I was on the air at 6 o'clock until 10. So I mean, look, I'm not fighting it again. Man up. Don't cry in baseball. Cite your sources. Calm down. Women love it when you say calm down. Shame on you for stifling. I didn't stifle her. Shush. Truth doesn't want a monopoly. Ego does. I don't care if she covers the exact same show. I don't care if she uses the exact same words. If I cover something somebody else said, I just cite it. That's it. I'm done. I'm not stifling her. I even said, I hope she does well. I watch her stuff. My gosh. The only reason I knew she did it, because I watch it. Stop it. Barron, your content is exceptional. Thank you. Ian was right. You are the best new YouTuber. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Joe Murray. Very kind of you. Man, exceptional is a big word. I'll try to live up to that. Carlisle for a year, Lieutenant Colonel. Love it there. I am not a Lieutenant Colonel. Do I look like a Lieutenant Colonel? I would almost say, am I old enough to be a Lieutenant Colonel, but I know I am. But I'm not. No, I'm not a Lieutenant Colonel. Not in the military. Never been in the military. Mad respect for people who are, but I'm not. Minot crew went to Riley Army Airfield to train for hijacked plane recovery, including sniper training. The exercise had Valhalla in the name. Have you heard that? I've heard it from multiple places. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if that is code word. It very well could be a code word. It could be a code word like, hey, we got it under control. Everybody got out safely. No, there's no untied ends. Everybody. Or it could be Cash being a total nerd and thinking that sounds like metal. I'm gonna tell them I'll see you in Valhalla. They're gonna love it. I'll be a legend. I mean, it could have been that. I don't think that's what it was. But look, he's just nerdy enough. I could see him saying that. Oh, I'm gonna get him. I've got the best. And somebody's like, what are you going to say today at the press conference? I don't want to tell you. I want you to be surprised. I kind of wish he'd told them because they'd have been like, dude, don't do that. That's so dumb. Don't say that. Say anything but that. Just leave Valhalla out of it. You're a Hindu, he's a Christian. Why are we talking about Norse pagan mythology? Thank you. New here and love it. Just wondering if we can stop with the left and right and start with us and them. That was my whole monologue. You're very new. Like you picked up in the middle of the show. Go back and listen to the first 20 minutes. That was the whole monologue. Or opening statement. I honestly don't think it's left and right anymore. Thank you for helping the Great Awakening. What a sweet pup. Thank you, Catch the June Bug. Yes, please go back to the beginning of the program. I sat down and took about 4 hours writing a monologue, editing, distilling it, getting rid of words because the first draft was 12 pages and I had to cut it way back. I try to keep them to 5. This one ended up about 7.5. And then I got to like pick and choose my words carefully, and it has to have a certain meter because there's a meter that I speak in. And I like when I write to be in that same meter. And I sneak little Easter eggs in some of them. You guys don't always catch. You guys, I don't think I've ever caught them, but I catch them. I'll sneak little Easter eggs in there. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I love iambic pentameter. I haven't snuck that in there yet, but I've done that in speeches in the past. Like open with an iambic pentameter, line. Love that stuff. Love that stuff. But I've included a few Easter eggs just for my own amusement, just for my own entertainment. And on the off chance someone one day goes, wait a minute. If you take the first word from every sentence for the first 10 sentences, it says this. I'm like, yeah, it does. You got me. But I don't do that every time. And I've never done that specific one. But I put Easter eggs in there. Catch the June. So thank you. Thank you for your kind words. This is a baby to me. I love this program. I love the audience. I love the medium of broadcasting, and I have a lot of fun with this. So thank you. Holy mackerel, share. And this makes it easier to do. Thank you for your voice. Loved your opening. Merry Christmas to all. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know anything else to say. Merry Christmas to you as well. I love the holiday season. I did not always love the holiday season. It's cold, it's dreary, it's gray, especially if you grew up in Middle Tennessee, it's always gray. So your memories of Christmas are always like dead trees and gray skies. But as I get older, I love Thanksgiving to Christmas now, or really to New Year's. Because family's around, it's a little slower pace. People seem to be a little happier. Hugs linger a little longer. Handshakes linger a little longer. And it's just nice. It's a nice time. Merry Christmas to you, Cher. Thank you very much for that generous gift. Thank you. The level of trolling in the chat tonight is simply proof that you're over the target and caught their attention. Thank you. I wondered if the crying was over the target, catching their attention. That's why I didn't want to put a ton of attention in it. I would never try to hurt someone's feelings. So if I genuinely did, I do want to apologize. But at the same time, you've got to wonder about things like that. There's so much infighting right now, you just have to wonder. Hi, Baron. My dog Kingston says hi to Tilly. Buy her a treat on us. I will do that. You know what she likes? She likes bully sticks. Do you guys know what those are? Don't Google it. Just buy them. Dogs love them. You don't want to know what they are. But if you buy bully sticks for your dogs, they will go freaking crazy every time you open the cabinet where the bully sticks are. She's a great dog. I'm going to have to go back and watch that clip. She's great. I'll buy her some bully sticks on you. Thank you. That's about what a bag of bully sticks cost. So this is perfect. It's perfect. I finally watched John Cullen's videos on Charlie Kirk. He was really onto something. Is his sudden absence related? No, I hear and that could be wrong, but I hear the sudden absence is related to a disagreement he's had with Jason Goodman that resulted in some heated exchanges that I think at least Cullen has agreed to pull out for a little while, and I'm not sure why. But I don't think it's related to his coverage of Charlie Kirk. Look, like anyone, I don't agree with everything Cullen says, but I like his style. I like his self-admitted autism. I'm not making fun of him. I like his, he gets on something and he will never stop. He will never stop. So I think they were getting out of her area so France could do its thing. Hope she stays home. I think they were getting her out of her area so France could do its thing. Pronouns, they're the enemy of communication. Pronouns are the enemy of communication. What are we talking about? Getting her out of her area so France could do its thing. I wish I could help you. Counter Nick, thank you for the Canuck Bucks, Tobias. Counter Nick F arguments about Ian C with a strong comment underneath his video and watch what happens. New videos are now no longer visible to me, so I'm prevented from ever doing that again. You're saying Nick blocked you? On Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or X, or what are we talking about? Counter Nick's arguments about Ian with a strong... Yeah, I don't doubt it, but, you know, Ian's sharp, dude. Ian's much smarter than Nick is giving him credit for. And Ian's got a little of that John Cullen-tism in him. No offense. But, man, he gets on something. He's not going to quit. And as soon as he started getting on it, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. Get the popcorn. Get the heated blanket out. Go ahead and throw another Yule log on the Yuletide fire or whatever they call it, because it's going to get fun. I'm interested to see where this goes. His show today was dynamite. If you've not seen Ian's response to Nick, it's great. It truly is. Edie Beatty girl. Edie Bronx girl. Why do I always say Edie Beatty? The wound's what bothers me. None of it makes sense. All I see is something popping up from his shirt and smacking CK on neck, then blood. Gunshot, something else. That's what I see. Like, I don't see a bullet hole. I see something under the shirt hitting him in the neck, and then the shirt comes down and there's a big hole in his neck. That's what I see. I don't know what would have broken the neck. I don't know, you know, but you know, if I really wanted to, I could break the vertebrae in your neck. I'm not saying anyone did that. I'm saying if you're gonna kill him, then you know, kill him. I don't know. Slim, thank you. Man, a few words. Thank you very much. That's a very generous donation. Thank you. Banning circumcision bans the people that practice. It's the only non-violent solution. Think about it. How else do we save the West? Shortest path. Yeah, but the lemon test, you would have to apply the lemon test, I believe. And the lemon test is going to allow people to perform religious circumcision. I'm almost confident that I'm correct in that. I might be wrong. Lemon test might be about government money, but there's going to be some test that the Supreme Court has set forth that tells you when you can practice certain religious practices, I think. And maybe you could try to ban it. Let people do it if they want to do that. Let them. 27 Canadian bucks. Mickey has also left TPUSA as chief. He just does speaking engagements now. Flood did not, but the security company he ripped off may have. How do you know all that? Because I've not heard any of that. I mean, I've heard the security company he ripped off, but I don't know how you know all that. Cite your sources, please, sir, ma'am. God guided your path right here. Now, thank you, Bell Lady. Thank you. That is very kind. Real Baron Podcast, did you ever look into Anatoly Golitsyn? Well, if my inability to pronounce it is any indication, no. Absolutely worth it to understand current politics. Great work. All right, I'll try. Here's your picture. I'll come back. I'll look. Anatoly. Isn't there a weightlifter named Anatoly? What do you think Dan whispers to Charlie moments before? Ooh, that's a good one, because he does come up to his ear. And so does Terrell Farnsworth, if you remember. I'm not going to play it again, but they both came up and talked to him in between Henry Dell's questions and Hunter Kozak's questions. That's interesting. I don't know. I honestly had not considered it. Your wife must be a saint, as behind every great man stands a great woman. Well, that presumes facts, not in evidence, Atomic Blonde. That presumes I'm a great man. Given her ability to handle 8 children and you're a truly fortunate man, woman to woman. She's the best. She truly is the best. I mean, there's no doubt about it. patient, kind, loving, fantastic mother. Man, if I had to raise my kids without her, whew, can you imagine what they would be like? Y'all don't want to see what that would unleash on the world. Did you see my email? Check I sent today with a video of Mikey and security making eye contact when he touched his sleeve. Yeah, I saw that. I actually played that slowed down clip a couple months ago. Blue Cheer, thank you, Blue Cheer. Back with your tall horse. One day, Blue Cheer, when you donate, tell me what that is. Tell me what that horse is, because it looks like an ancient figurine or something, and I'm pretty fascinated by it. So thank you. Thank you very much. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Regardless of Milo's accusations, Benny's always behaved like he has some sugar in his tank, let's be honest. Have you looked at his BuzzFeed articles? That's the only thing I'm going to say. Dude, we hang with you for hours. Thanks, Edge. Hubby thinks I'm nuts. My wife thinks I'm nuts. What are you guys doing in there? Ian, Candace, Dee Dee, Jimmy, Nate, Tucker, James, Lee. It's hard to keep up. You are in my top 3. You've listed a bunch of really, really great people right there. Again, I am so just humbled when you guys throw my name in with a role like that. I mean, that's ludicrous. But yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you, Edge. Joining late, catching up. Thank you, Mr. Oh, we've talked about this. I don't know how to pronounce that. About officials being gay and young boys. Did you ever look into the Franklin scandal? No, I didn't. I told you last time. I just don't think I have time. I don't think I have time to go down another rabbit hole. You know what will happen if I get into that and it's interesting? Like, do you know that the like free time I have right now is next to zero? I'm cutting into sleep. Maybe I'll look at it. Maybe I'll look at it. Can I send you proof that Charlie faked his death? Sure. But if it's just a video somebody else did on YouTube, no. If it's a video somebody else did on YouTube with a timeline breakdown, sure. Like 0 minutes to 3 minutes. Here's where they talk about this. Like, give me a table of contents. Give me some of your own content. Like, I am more amazed by the content of my emailers than I am the content of the people linked in the YouTube video. I want the context so that I know what I'm clicking, because I might not click it. And if I don't get any content, I'll save you guys some time. If you just send me an email and just says, hey, watch this. I didn't watch it. And that's not me being ugly. It's just like, it's a time thing. You're sending me a 30-minute video. So did 19 other people. When am I supposed to watch these? Like, that's 10 hours of video. But if you give me a little summary, maybe it'll intrigue me enough that I'll watch it, or at least I can learn. So thank you. Happy to review it. Have you seen the picture of the person that looks like Brigitte in the crowd? Thoughts about it? I have. I think there's evidence that she was on the French Riviera, maybe in Nice or Marseille or somewhere down there, Monaco maybe, that week. There might even be pictures of her on the French Riviera that week. God forbid, in a bathing suit. I don't want to see her little Brigitte Macron. Like, I don't want to see it. Even if it's just remnants, I don't want to see it. But I heard she was vacationing in the south of France. I could be wrong. Maybe I heard incorrectly. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different time. Baron, get off the Wi-Fi. Great show as usual. Have you ever watched Casey the Car Guy go Max? I have actually reached out to a couple of people about getting a quote for a wire running it. The problem is I don't have anything back here. And I got to have somebody run something through the house. It's not as easy as you'd think. And I'd have to buy a new computer. Because I'm out of ports. Every port's taken up. I almost made a bad joke. You sickos know the joke I was going to make. Sirich. Baron, let's go. On Elon Musk platform, to learn how to spell social engineer the social engineers. Ban circumcision, no Mideast, That's a lot of context there. I'm not going to tell people they can't practice a medical procedure they want. I mean, some. Like you can't cut the wang off of your 4-year-old, but if you can cut the tip of it. First time, love your show. Go Max. Don't know why chat is putting in spaces where there is none needed. Yeah, I don't know either. But maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's like their thing. I don't know. Thank you, Mallory. Thank you for joining the program. Did you say that Charlie was carried out neck down? He was carried out face down. And that you saw some gruesome pics from Charlie McClintock. It's all changed now. Go Hoosiers. It could be. I mean, I don't think I saw his most gruesome pics. I think he held some back. Yeah, go Hoosiers indeed. #1 overall seed in the college football playoff. Could you share your thoughts on Allie Beth Stuckey video today? You said your sister listens. Not sure if you do too. Thanks. I do not listen. I have listened to a few Allie Beth Stuckey videos in my life, and it took me maybe weeks or months to recover from those because she is not my style of Christian or my TPUSA fact checks Candace Owens or things about to get ugly. Yeah. See, I don't know. I will say this. I didn't know I had way more views on an average video than she does. And she's got 10 times the subscribers, and I get 2 or 3 times the views. I might watch that one. But I'm telling you, like, my IQ drops every time I watch it. There's a few people like that. I'd say Tim Pool falls in that category. I wanted to like him when he first came out. I don't want to dog people. There are a few people that fit in that category where I just feel like they get done. I'm like, ugh, what did I just listen to? Every time I listen to Allie Beth Stuckey, I'm like, ugh, why? Limited time offer. Real Baron Podcast, Charlie Kirk ear hair trimmers. Also, Charlie Kirk strawberry seed tooth flosser because you always want to look your best. That's what we ought to do. Apparently, he used to have a shtick. Oh gosh, I'm drawing on from way back when he was still alive. I thought he had some shtick where he would carry something around because he said you never know when it's your last day or something. Someone fact check me on that. I don't want to get that wrong, but I remember hearing this story along the way that there was something he carried along or something he would hand out to people or something that he was like, hey, you never know when it's your last day. That could kind of be the tagline for the ear trimmers and the flossers. You never know when it's going to be. You never know when you got to go. I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. Like the way I leave the house sometimes, I'm afraid if I get in a wreck, they're going to look at me and they say, well, this poor guy, he clearly doesn't have a family. No one would let him out of the house dressed like that. And then they bury me in an Adidas hoodie, not even a suit. Put me in a white one. Everybody in all those images, they're in white when they go hug Jesus. I want a white one. Put me in this one. It's kind of cream. I want a bright white one if I'm getting buried, baby. Every dog owner thinks they have the best dog in the history of the world, and they're all right. No, they're not. I know some dogs that are turds. One of my mom's 2 dogs is great. One of them's a turd. He won't listen to you. He doesn't do anything you say. I think she would even admit that. I even think she would admit it. I'm not sure, but I think she would. But I agree. Dogs are great. I used to not like dogs. And I don't particularly like other people's dogs, really. I don't like dogs jumping on me. I don't like them coming at me fast. I got bit in the face when I was a little kid. When the sun shines just right, you can see the teeth holes still. There's like one in here, and there's 2 right here and 1 over here. I got bitten. Apparently, it's pretty gnarly. I was like 3. I don't remember it. But I think it's given me this fear of dogs coming at me quick. I don't like it at all. No blood trail when carrying CK to car. Odd. Yeah, I do think there were some drips of blood. And this kind of goes against the blood pack theory, because people have gone out there with black lights. I've seen videos of it where they go out there with black lights and they can kind of see the drips all the way out to the car. Now, maybe they could mix up a solution that looks like blood that has that characteristic. Or maybe they could have used real blood. I don't know. It was like a movie Carrie or something. Like use pig blood. I don't know how that works. But if you look at the Charles McClintock, I'm not going to show them on air, but if you go to Charles McClintock's site and you look up, I think it's called the Aftermath or something. Aftermath at UVU, Charles Kirk campus incident. There are the top 3 or 4 pictures. You can see quite a bit of blood while they're carrying him off, and that's how you can tell that he's leaning forward. Now, I will say this. I don't see so much blood that these guys had to change into scrubs like Brian Harpole said. I mean, I see a little blood, but I don't see like crazy amounts of blood. But yeah, I mean, I'm 5%. I'm 5%. Researching the history of the country of Israel is real, and its founding, etc., leads me to think it should actually be called is fake. It's interesting. I had them. I guess I still do. I haven't looked at it in a while. I have a whole monologue drawn up on the history of the naming of Israel. It's really a fascinating history. I don't know if you ever heard it. I didn't want to bore people. Like when I finished it, it took hours to put together. When I finished it, I got done and I tightened it up and I kept reading it back to myself over and over. And I was like, I can't make this funny. I can't make it interesting. Like it's pretty dry. But to me, it was pretty fascinating because like there's no like suspense or intrigue. It's just fact. That doesn't always make a good opening. But if you do your research on how the country was named, you'll realize why they called it Israel. I mean, so that Ted Cruz would read Genesis 12:3, which, by the way, doesn't say anything about Israel. But that's why they named it Israel. Like they were going to name it several other things. There were like 3 or 4 other names got significant votes when they put it up for a vote. And they landed on Israel. And basically they were like, look, if we call it Israel, people will think we are the remnant people coming back home. So let's do that. That's just my opinion. Don't come at me. Jennifer, thank you. Mel Brooks in Spaceballs, merchandising. You're back. Real Baron Podcast, The Lunchbox, The Coloring Book, The Flamethrower. The kiddos love that one. That is one of my favorite movies. Not very kid-friendly at times. But I remember watching it when I was a kid, and the adult humor kind of went over me. But yeah, that was great. Truth Seeking. Keep going, Max. I'll do my best truth seeking. 81. You don't look 81 years old. Who? Allie Travels, producers here. Allie Travels is phenomenal. She's a great follow on X, and she's a great emailer. She's a great supporter of this program and provides tremendous content. I probably shouldn't be telling anybody that, should I, Allie? If you email me and say, don't use my name, I won't. But that doesn't mean I won't tell people you've emailed me before. She's great. Oh, that was the who's yours. Okay, I got you. This boomer loves your show and lively personality. Thank you, Abbas, Dr. Judith. Are you Dr. Judith Abbas? Or are you Abbas daughter Judith? I don't know what all that means, but thank you. Very generous words and contribution. Baron, are you team real tree or team fake tree? To begin with, it's not an Advent tree. It's a Christmas tree. The Christmas season starts on Christmas Eve. So at the Coleman family, the tree goes up late in the Advent season, usually a day or 2 before Christmas, sometimes 3. And it stays up deep into January because that is the Christmas season. Anyone who insists that a tree must be real, then I insist their lighting must be real. So if you're not using real candles, you've got a fake tree. I don't care if you cut it down and it's a perfect Fraser fir out of the foothills of Kentucky. If you're using a strand of electric light, sir, that's fake. That's a fake tree. It's candles, or you might as well go nylon. We are a fake tree family, sir. Primarily because of all the allergies in the house. You can see how my eyes are doing just having pet I pet my dog a lot, but I always go wash my hands immediately right after. and I did not do that this time, and so my eyes are a little itchy. We've got allergies in this house, and a real tree would cause an asthmatic flare up or two here and there. Just say, Julie, thank you for all you do, Baron. Your opening statements are fire. Love your content and humor, especially Hopefully. I look forward to your lives. Thank you. Very kind. I look forward to doing the lives. They're so much fun. I truly, truly enjoy them. I watched her explain, and she's being sincere. You could have just publicly asked her to email you. Please consider that you're wrong. I did. I said that. I said I apologize. You don't apologize if you think you're right. If I said something that made her cry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Google bully sticks. Don't. Why do you think I said don't Google it? Why do you think I said don't Google it? Are you one of those people that if I say, ooh, the milk's bad, that you go, oh, let me smell? I don't trust people like you, sir. You've lost a little respect. I said don't Google it. Now everybody's going to Google it. It's human nature. We do what we're told not to do. Truth evades $10. Anyone wondering what happened to John Cullen? Look at his stream with Jake Morphonius and Jason Goodman at the earlier stages of Las Vegas shooting and think about the accusations possibly being legit. I don't know what you're talking about, but I will do that because my understanding was he and Goodman got sideways, and Goodman might have been threatening to reveal what his real identity is. I don't think it's John Cullen. So that was one thing I heard. The other thing I heard is Goodman might have threatened to sue him if he didn't go away. Another thing I heard is Goodman may have threatened to sue him, and so he went away hoping Goodman wouldn't follow through on it. I don't know what the truth is, but I will go look at Jake Morphonius. If my name had apologize if anyone in the audience has this. If my name had the word phony in it, I'd probably change it because kids are cruel, and I wouldn't want them to do that to my kid. Have you watched Stu Peters' video about the microphone on his shirt? He shows a puff of smoke as the shirt blows up. Also shows guy in brown shirt possibly pushing something at the time the pop goes off. I don't think I've seen that Stu Peters video. I've watched a few Stu Peters clips here and there, but I don't know if I've seen that one in particular, but I'm familiar generally with the argument, yeah. Rain Lab ASMR. I lost my ever-loving mind when you mentioned Hachi dogs. I grew up here, been eating them since the 80s. Any friend of the Hamilton, friend of me, absolutely love you, dude. Keep it up. You're in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, Carlisle is, it's a cool town. It's a really cool town. Small. Not far from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Not far from, it's Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg area right there. But so one of the first weekends my wife and I were there, we're like, oh, wow, we're close to Gettysburg. We should just take a whim trip down there on a Saturday. It's like 20 miles away, 25 miles away. So we get in the car. We're driving to Gettysburg. We pass Mount Holly Springs. And there's a giant billboard when you come into town that says home of Sid Bream. He's best known for not getting thrown out at home plate when everybody assumed he was going to get thrown out because he's that slow. That's his one claim to fame is he slid under a Barry Bonds wiffle ball being thrown into the infield. And but anyway, we get to Gettysburg and there's people everywhere. We're like, wow, Gettysburg's hopping. And we roll in there and there's a Confederate line walking across. We happen to show up on the random day that they were doing the reenactment, which made it admittedly a little difficult to get around town. But yeah, we had a good time there. We were only there for 1 year, but it was fun. Yeah, Hachi dogs though. I ate a bunch of those. I bet my nitrate level was out the roof. Hey, will you do me a favor? Will you go get 2 Hachi dogs for me and some of those little fries? Because I will vicariously live through you, sir. Thank you. Brian Phipps, you need to make time for the Franklin scandal. I'm telling you, you guys caused me to run down another rabbit hole and the quality of the show falls off. And all of a sudden I'm coming up here and I'm unprepared and I don't have an opening and I don't have any stories to cover because I'm neck deep in the Franklin scandal. Y'all are going to be pissed. And I'm going to blame Brian because I'm probably going to look at it now. Mr. You think you know me. Oh, you think you know me. It's not that dumb. Now that you've explained it, it's not dumb. It's like a really long license plate, though. Some of them are too cute. I don't know what they say. Susan Meadows, Baron, you're amazing. I tend to agree. No, I kid. Wishing you credit. Wishing you and the family a blessed Christmas. I agree that woman using your content should give you credit. Hey, listen, I don't want to do a thing with her. I want her to have fun and be successful. Like I said, I like her content. I watch it. So she, not everything she puts out. I don't watch everything anybody puts out, but I watch some clips here and there, and I've enjoyed her content. I think she's getting better as she gets more reps. She's getting better. But I don't want to be on her. I don't want to be on anyone's bad side. You guys see, I walk a thin line here. Well, Blake Neff is, and Mikey and Rob McCoy, we'll accept them. But even like Andrew Colvette, I've not tried to really get on his bad side. Mikey, Rob, Blake, that's about it. I don't really get on people's bad sides. That's not my game. Mike dancing on Ellen with her little Brigitte was bad enough. You could see her little, it looked like a big Brigitte, to be honest. Talking about Michelle Obama? Dude, Michelle Obama dancing on Ellen, that's not a little Brigitte. If that's little, then I got bad news for everybody. That was a big Brigitte bouncing around in there. We're going to tell hey, men, let's tell the women that's a big Brigitte. Oh, you are a woman. And you called it little. Oh, gosh, Amanda Van Allen radiation belts. I'll never recover from this. That's a teeny Brigitte. Amanda. I mean, just a tiny little Brigitte in there. I'm going to get out of this one. So appreciative of what you do, Baron. Thank you, M. Taylor. Keep up the amazing work. Don't give the nonsense post too much of your valuable time. Another 12-2 birthday baby. Are you a 12-2 birthday baby? Hey, be careful. Our British friends are going to think that's the middle of February. They're not going to understand. They think we use a weird calendar when we're talking about like December 14th. They get all bent out of shape. That's not how you do math. Not how you count time. Don't judge little Brigitte. Short dudes are usually paid. Short, gosh. The comment speaks for itself. I can't even read it. Oh my gosh, what does this show become? Like I said, it could, but it might just be remnants. Starvey, we don't know. We don't know. PR Baker 3. Did I get it right? PR Baker 3. Go back to Harpool on Sean's show. He said he got all his security comms through Dan Flood. I bet Dan didn't mention what Charlie Kirk told him. Given Harpool's incompetence, it probably didn't matter. I think I covered that night, if you remember. I have to go back and look at that show. I'll at least skim the transcript. I don't want to watch the whole show again, but I think I covered that night I think I covered it that night that the comms came through Dan. And that Charlie had told Dan that he had fears. I don't remember what night it was. I know I covered that. But yeah, I don't think Harpoles are professional. I don't know. But based on that one day alone, I've not examined the rest of his life. He might be the greatest security guard in the history of mankind. But it just seemed like that day there were just so many things that were overlooked and not done. And Hamilton orders 2 Hachi dogs, fries, homemade vanilla Coke, and black and white shake. If you don't dip the fries in the shake, watch out. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. Guys, if you're ever in central Pennsylvania, go to the Hamilton Inn. It's a little hole in the wall off of the main drag right there, the main little square. And they have a restaurant in there. And the restaurant serves Hachi dogs. They're like little conies, I guess you'd call them. But it's this, whatever the chili they use, like a homemade chili, it's amazing. It's amazing. There's another place like that, Rain, if you travel much. There's a place in Montgomery, Alabama called Chris's Hot Dogs. It opened in the early 1900s. Like the original grease is still in the ceiling in the walls. It's that kind of place. And they have a similar style of dog. Very similar style of dogs. Not as good as a Hachi dog, admittedly. If the Catekuses are listening. That's who owned the restaurant. If they're listening to the program, I apologize. But there is one place with a better hot dog, and that is the Hamilton Inn. There's a picture where he was sitting at the pool it was a pool of blood on the ground. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think he's dead. 95% sure he's dead. I am becoming more convinced he's not buried, which is weird. Which took me from like 3 to 5% that he might be alive. Maybe 6. I mean, honestly, why is he not in the ground? Put the man in the ground. That's what you do with dead people. You put him in the ground. We don't put him in cryo tanks. We don't throw him in slabs in the morgue. We don't keep him on ice while we're building a mausoleum in Washington, D.C. We put him in the ground, under the dirt, from dust to dust. That's the promise of the Bible. Not from dust to weird cryogenically frozen mass somewhere in Scottsdale. That's not it. And I'm not saying that's what they did. I don't know what they've done with him. I'm just becoming more convinced he's not buried. And the more I become convinced he's not buried, the more my 5% might become 6% because I think, why else is he not buried? What other excuse do we have to not put the man in the ground? Unless you don't have a body to put in there. Tagline, ear trimmer and strawberry tooth floss. Don't be caught dead with that. Oh my gosh. Now, I like dark humor. Like, I'm an Anthony Jeselnik fan. Love the guy. Love dark humor. But even me, sir, thinks it's a little too soon. Kinda. That's pretty funny. I see what you did there with the plays for both teams and cross-dressing. When you caught it, huh? See, those are my Easter eggs. That's what I do. I put little fun things in there for me because when I'm writing, I like to entertain myself. Just like when I'm talking, I like to entertain myself. You guys think I do this for you? I do this for me. This show is about entertaining me. If you care to listen along, that's your business. I'm doing this for me. No, I write for me. I do. I even if I wasn't doing the show, I write. Like, I like to write. I have a lot of writings in my drives. Books that I've started, chapters I've written that should be in a book somewhere, novellas, just random word vomit. I like to write, and I like to write the openings. That gives me a little creative outlet for a few hours here and there. But yeah, I definitely did that. 100% did that. You see 10-second vid making case for his fake death. Have I seen it? I have not seen a 10-second version, no. Grammy. Put some clothes on. Peak Prosperity vid, experimental proof, minute 38, shows exact necklace shirt behavior with higher angle. Have I seen that one? Is that the one where they shot him from behind? I think I saw something similar. John Mappin posted on X yesterday regarding why he did not attend the event last week that Charlie personally invited him to. Interesting. I didn't see that. Paramount Tactile obviously in on it. I don't know that. I mean, I see why you would say that. But again, give the man a microphone, give him some space, let him cook, see what he comes up with. He might be right. I watched some of the Fed slop narrative. I don't agree with it, but I watched some. I don't think it's right. But, okay, look, I told you to make a list in the opening. Put them on the list. New Berenstein Bear book, Bedtime for Baron from Chambersburg, PA. Oh, you're a Chambersburg guy? How about that? I got people all over Central PA writing in. And it's Berenstain Bear, sir. We have gone through the Mandela Effect portal. That's AIN at the end. New Berenstain Bear book, Bedtime for Baron from Chambersburg, PA. Wow, checking in. I had a good friend from Chambersburg when I lived up there. Could he have been shot by a tranquilizer, and that's why he was rushed off so quickly? I don't think so. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, no, it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe. I'm not ruling it out, but I don't see why you would do that. Keep up the good work. You're living legend. The fish in my picture is 9.5-foot white sturgeon caught from the bank on 40-pound monofilament line. Is that your fish? It's a good-looking fish. It's a nice fish. White sturgeon. Been scuba diving. I don't know if I ever saw a white sturgeon. That's a big fish. Please explain the 109 expulsions. Why so many times? I'm not getting. There are channels that can explain that to you. The Henry Ford influence, I think, is pretty Loctite. Like that guy was getting some pretty stout corporate support. Open border. Yeah, I think all countries should either have open borders or closed borders. And all countries should be able, like, you should either be able to dictate who's in your country or not, and including the makeup. Like, if Israel wants to have a Jewish ethno state, fine. But then, like, everybody else gets to have the exact same kind of state. Like, they get to have their particular brand of state. Like, Hungary can say, we're just going to be Hungarians. Austrians can say, we're only going to be Austrian. And the Swedes can say, no one but Swedes. Like, in other words, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can play that game. That's an option. That's fine. Or you can play the other game where nobody gets to decide who comes and goes. Nobody gets to know who comes and goes. It's like free for all. And if you're stupid enough under a free for all system to have a welfare state, then you're going to get sucked dry and bankrupted in no time. Like, you can have welfare, state-sponsored programs, or you can have open borders. You cannot have both. People are like, well, America used to have open borders. Yeah, well, you also died. You also died if you came to America and couldn't cut it. Like, you would starve to death. Or you would die from consumption or dysentery. There's like Oregon Trail. Like a buffalo might run you over. We didn't have anti-buffalo programs. There was no public school. There were no hospitals that were compelled to take you whether or not you could pay. There were no food stamps. There was no housing support. There were no fire departments. There were no police departments. It was like you and the natives. May the best man win. Like, that's all you had. So we can do that. Go back to that. That's option A. Option B, you get to lock down your borders. You get to determine who comes and goes. And you get to determine the makeup of those people, what they look like. What religion are they? What race are they? I'm not sure that's a better system. But it's not fair that one country gets to play that game, or 5 countries get to play that game, or 25 countries get to play that game, and everybody else is stuck with open borders. Like, that's not right. One rule around the globe. Everybody plays by the same rules. That's my thing. Back to the opening statement, the infighting. Merry Christmas. God bless us, everyone. Thank you, Sir Major Dumas. You've been fun. You've had a little fun tonight, and I've enjoyed reading along. That was fun to me. Thank you, Baron. Thank you, Auntie. My 7-year-old today asked me what a great aunt was while we're driving down the road. I don't know where the question came from. 7-year-olds ask questions like that sometimes. And I had to sit there and explain to her what a great aunt is. And it's not easy to explain to a 7-year-old. Like, I had to think about it. Well, it's your mom's aunt is your great aunt. Well, why would that be a great aunt? What makes her great? I'm like, oh. I don't know. Hey, you're welcome to blame me. Thank you, Brian. Sean Ryan had the investigative journalist on his show. The Franklin scandal was our government trafficking children. I think the government's still trafficking children. But I'll check it out. Look, that's easy. If there's a podcast out there, I'll watch it. If there's a podcast out there, I'll watch it. It's fine, Baron. Neither of you were first. It was on X a while ago that he was taken off TPUSA. Nobody speaks how Jewish references started being taken off since 9/10. My screen caps were not on X, sir. I support Baron, the Hoosier. Go Big Blue. We're Big Red, sir. We're Big Red. See the red, white, red, white? Cream and crimson, more accurately. Cream. I can't get on it. There we go. Cream and Crimson. Hey, Baron. Hello from Australia. Thanks for the A-Bucks. Not long come across your YouTube. Thanks to Ian Carroll. Big fan already. You are up there after Candace for me. Thank you. Well, can we get Ian, since he sent you my way, can he be number 2? I'll just take a podium spot. Win, place, or show. Just let me show. Just let me show. Holy mackerel. Did you accidentally hit the wrong number? Did you mean to do 50 and you hit 500? Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mark Shawnee. Baron, you're very good. Go Max and God bless. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. That's all I can say. I don't know. I'm so humbled when you guys do things like that. Thank you. Hey, Baron, how can I reach you to schedule for my show? We have a similar audience. Would be a great convo. Email me. I'll need to check it out. I'm very particular about shows I go on because I know how the media works. And I know once you go on someone's show or have someone on your show, it's like an endorsement of everything they've ever said. So I've been cautious in the past about doing other people's shows. And I've been cautious about having people on my show. But I'm happy to check it out. And that's not saying I will or won't do it. I'm just letting you know kind of my reservations with things like that. But you can email me. So my email is right there at the bottom of the screen. So YouTube, you're obviously on realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. You can catch me on X at realbaronpod. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, while you're there, to subscribe, like, and click notifications. Subscribe, like, and click notifications. That will make you a better person. That's how the Lord said to get into heaven. No, that's not true. Not true at all. Not true at all. What's the Franklin scandal? It was just explained above. Government trafficking children. It has a Sean Ryan episode on it. You can probably Google it. Bahaha, your show, Baron After Hours. Nobody wants to see that. Supposedly, Charlie Kirk was buried in a Catholic cemetery, according to Candace Owens. I heard that, but obviously she wasn't there. I don't think I'm wrong saying that. And look, even Candace is subject to getting imperfect information at times. I'm not saying she did. She very well may be right. I'm just saying lately, there's been a lot of hubbub that he's still above the surface level. And I want to know why. $5.02. That's an oddly specific donation. Can I abuse your channel by plugging my channel for a $5? Wayne County High School Sports on YouTube. Wayne County, Tennessee, go Wildcats. That's the only time I'll allow that, man. Because it's a high school sports channel, I don't really care. Maybe she had him cremated. No way to dig him up for more testing if needed. That's not what I heard. Nobody has any right to talk about Baron's wife and daughters. Dry up your crocodile tears and leave his family out of it, housewife. Oh, I didn't hear she did that. Whatever. This is to her, not you, Baron. Don't have to read out loud. Oh, I read it. I didn't know she talked about him. I didn't watch obviously that whole spiel. But I saw it pop up. But yeah, look, that even tells me more about the situation. Speaking of Mandela effect, just emailed you proof. It's magic mirror on the wall. Yes, it is magic mirror on the wall. Thank you, Amanda Van Allen Radiation Belt. It absolutely is magic mirror on the wall. And people don't know that because we've all been conditioned through pop culture. Robert Gibson, $50. Thank you. Avoid the clap. That's good advice. Yes. Jimmy Dugan. That's a line from I can't think of the name of the movie. I showed a clip of it earlier. Or I showed a picture of it. The women's baseball game. What the heck is it? Women's baseball movie. League of Their Own. I don't know why they just keep me. See how tired I get at the end of the show? League of Their Own. You will definitely want to be on Liberty Lockdown. Good. Send me an email. Look, I'm going to check it out. If it's good, we'll set up a time. Now, I'm busy. Like, I have a full-time job. This basically has become another full-time job. I have family obligations. I have a doting wife and 8 wonderful children. And so I have to spend time with them. And I had I did a dinner like 20 minutes before I jumped on the air tonight. I look, an old radio trick. You don't eat before you go on the air. But some of these shows get so long, I get hungry. So I did eat tonight before I went on the air, and it did not seem to affect me much. Sometimes it makes you kind of slow-witted if you get a full belly right before you go on air. So I used to starve myself. My show used to be 9 to noon. I didn't eat until noon, until like 1, really, because I wanted to be hungry when I was on the air. And so I've been doing that on these podcasts as well. They go at 6 or 7 o'clock. So I'll eat at like 3, and then I don't eat again before the show. And so then it's 10 before I get off the air, and I'm starving to death. I'm one of those people that eats every few hours. So, guys, you've been so kind, so generous, so fun. This has been a great day, and we'll do it again. Wednesday, in all likelihood, will be the day that I'm back on the air, probably at 7 o'clock if I had to guess. Might do it at 6 or 7, or 6 or 6:30, but probably 7. And thank you for your generosity. And I'll say it one more time before I close, just in case anybody wants to send it to her and say, oh, it's at the very end. Hey, Nicole, I'm sorry, genuinely. Did not intend to cause you any heartache like that. But, you know, we're all trying to get better here. We're all trying to get better. So thank you, audience, and I will see you Wednesday.